What is going on, everyone out there in our MNC Hoops world? We are so happy to be back for our next episode. Sorry, I'm going to have to get used to my camera. I'm a little zoomed in on myself because, you know what? I'm using an actual camera instead of just my laptop. I'm going to have to edit that a little bit. I know CJ already said I look good, but I knew that. But, I have to back it off a little bit. You can see my eyeballs, actually. But it's been a wonderful day today. It's been an awesome week. A lot of things going on, at least in the Lawson household and just in Harlan County, Kentucky. CJ, before I get into it, how about you? How you been doing? How's things been going this week? Any cool stories you got to share with us?
Yeah, week was pretty good. Had a solid week. It was raining really throughout the whole week up here.
Oh yeah, y'all got like a big flooded out, didn't y'all?
Yeah, it was bad. It was a couple floods in certain areas in the city, but the sun is out now. It's supposed to be pretty sunny, pretty good weather this week coming up, so that's good. But yeah, outside of like the weather, everything else was good. Pretty solid week. Everything went well, and we got some big news to talk about.
It's not so much big news. I mean, we don't have to act like it's super big, okay? Like whatever. Hey, real quick, let me ask you because I haven't talked to you about this in a while. Has that tryouts for the esports, the whole 9 yards on that, has that happened yet?
Yeah, that's October 12th.
12th, okay.
12th and the 15th.
Okay. So that's Thursday then, ain't it?
Yeah,
okay.
next Thursday, yeah.
From
the 12th to the 15th. So I'll be live on YouTube.
Okay. How many subscribers you up to now on YouTube?
69. So
okay.
30 away from 100. Yeah, 30 away from 100. So
awesome.
Maybe that live stream helped me to get to my goal.
For real, absolutely. Definitely, maybe your all's networking while y'all play that may help out. Just quick as far as my week, what went on. We had my three kids, all three of them, as you guys know, are 6-year-olds right now for like 20 more days or something like that. October 14th, my twins will be turning 7, and my wife will be turning a little bit older than 7. They all three shared the same birthday. But they had a cross-country meet. My oldest daughter got out of her cast. She was able to run in it, so we were happy about that. We were nervous because her last race that she did, she placed 9th with the broken arm, so she was expecting to do that well. And we told her, like, listen, you've not ran in a while, so don't have your hopes up high, but I do think you can do it. Long story short, it's the biggest race that they have this year, and out of 100 elementaries, and that's kindergarten through 6th grade, which she's in 1st grade, she came in 20th place, and she did get a medal, so congratulations to my daughter on that. My other two, they did better than usual, so, I mean, they are improving, and, we're able to have that conversation. It's not always about finishing first. It's about finishing better than you did last time. So with that, now our 13th region, which is what we are in here, I don't know what you call it. I'm all new to this stuff. Is tomorrow, actually, Monday at Lynn Camp here in Kentucky. And they've actually broken it down. I'm a little more excited because they're actually breaking it down to kindergarten and 3rd grade. So I actually think my oldest daughter has a chance to possibly come in top 3 because, it's the first 10 that's usually ahead of her are like 6th grade, 5th grades, and then it's her. So there's a chance she may come in first place on this. So we're really excited about that. But today was a very eventful day for my brother and I. As you guys know, I do another podcast. It's Cat's Chat Pod, where it's everything Kentucky sports. We do a lot of just Kentucky football, basketball with the college, but we also like to keep it as local as possible with high school students and everything like that. One of our Harlan County high school students just made his commitment announcement, and we were able to go live stream, be a part of that. CJ, have you heard of On3, the network On3?
Yes.
Okay, well, they weren't technically there. They actually used StreamYard. We had to help set him up to use the StreamYard so they did a broadcast live with Noah is his name, Trent Noah, as he made his announcement. So that was pretty cool. Us being there, a couple of local places, 24/7 Sports was there as well. Got to network with them a little bit. So it was some fun times with that. And shout out to Hot Off the Press for making our shirts Catch Chat. So now we have a shirt literally came hot off the press, and so thankful for Heather for making our shirts on that. It was a great time. Actually, with that, we were only able to YouTube stream it. We thought we were able to use StreamYard, but it was blocked. So we actually got quite a bit of actual followers on our YouTube channel because we did this. So we're looking into maybe trying to do a little more on that and travel a little bit with that possibly because it was a lot of fun being a part of that. again, like, I mean, we had my microphone set up there right in front of the auditorium. Well, actually, in our little huddle, and we just talked, while the whole thing was going on about the guy. And we talked with his dad for about 20 minutes. And after he got done with some of his media stuff, he came over to us and treated us like media as well. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great experience for us. Now that we're able to do that, and now we can actually say, we got to stream live someone's, commitment announcement. And he's a 3-star. He's ranked, I think, with 24/7 Sports, they have him at 88 ranking, and he's 131st overall, number 2 in Kentucky. So, I mean, he's doing well going into his senior year with that. Of course, we got already Nick in the comments.
Yo, what was good? It was good.
Getting that hip in 2 to 3 years. Nick.
2 to 3 years. Maybe this year, man.
Let's see. We'll get to that.
Great.
Okay.
But no, that's great though, bro. That's great. Listen, just continuing to expand.
I mean, with that, we had
media now, bro. I mean,
we are like
3 podcasts, 2-3 podcasts going.
And of course, we're having good guests on our Kentucky one. We just had the Defensive Player of the Week, not just SEC, but National Player of the Week in Maxwell Harrison. And I've just got another. I don't know if you keep up with college recruits too much, but this is football. There's twins that are playing in Kentucky that were committed to Michigan. They just flipped 2 weeks ago. I've been talking about them a couple of times on here. I just got the phone number for their dad's phone number, and I texted him and said, we'd love to have them on there. He said, oh, yes, I'll get with them because we'd love to do all kinds of media stuff. So we look to have the twins on there who was committed to Michigan and now have flipped to Kentucky. So, I mean, we're doing good. We just got to get the audience with us. So if you're out there, go follow us on Cats Chats Pod. Go follow CJ with his online play. You do football, you do basketball, you pretty much do everything. Of course, that's CJ versus the world, not against the world, as I found out the hard way. But guys, we're active in everything we can be, man, and we thank you for all the support that you guys do with us. Of course, Nick couldn't be here. Shout out Nick. He's got his other podcast he does as well, For Love of the Game, I think it's called. So we're doing nonstop things all year round, really.
Yeah, and this is perfect. It's while Cats Chat's going on, For the Love of the Game is riding high. I'm kind of doing my thing as well. This season is right here. It's October. It's October 1st. It's the month of the NBA season. So it flew by. It just felt like it was just a couple months ago. Nuggets was placing the Larry O.B. Here we are. 3 weeks away from the season opener.
Yeah. So with that, of course, with what Nick has said already about, Dame and Giannis getting a championship in 2 to 3 years, if you guys don't live under a rock, you have already heard that Dame has been traded to Miami. I'm sorry, a wrong city, to the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's breaking my heart. CJ, I'm sure you got a graphic coming up on this to talk about maybe even the trades or whatnot. It's broken my heart, but at the same time, I'm okay with it because what they've said, some of the trade that was expected from Portland, there ain't no way Miami was doing that. So I'll turn it over to you and let you talk on this.
Yeah, so this is from Woj. Lillard goes to Milwaukee as part of a 3-team deal with Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tomani Kamara, 2019 unprotected Milwaukee first-round pick, and Milwaukee pick swap for 2028 and 2030. You can put it back to the screen, bro.
I'm going to try to zoom out while you're talking there.
Okay, you're good. And then the Blazers, the Blazers get 2028 and 2030, and then Phoenix lands Nurkic and Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson in the deal. So big move for just all 3 teams, for the Bucks, the Blazers, and the Phoenix Suns. They made a monumental move. We obviously thought Miami was going to be the pick for Damian Lillard's destination, but I think, again, as I was saying over the last couple of weeks, I think he just made it too obvious that he wanted to go to Miami, and he was like, there was a point where he said he wasn't going to any other team.
Yeah.
And when you do that, not only are you, it looks bad from the Blazers' perspective because they don't just be like, okay, yeah, we'll send you to wherever you want. Doesn't matter what we get in return because it just business doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you look at the other 29 owners in the league. Is like, they have to set an example because you want to make sure, as an ownership, as a front office, as executives for the other leagues, for the other teams, just can't allow a player to just go where he wants to go just because he said so. You want to make sure you get the best deal possible, and then you're going to have to compromise, and that's exactly what happened in this case. I feel like Damian Lillard didn't go to Miami, but you could argue he went to a better team. Now, yes, Miami did beat the Bucks in the first round last year in the playoffs, and Jimmy had that crazy run, 8th seed defeating the number 1 seed. But it's a new year, and Miami. This is not the same Miami roster. We already talked about the guys that they lost in free agency, and Milwaukee kept their guys. They brought in a new head coach in Adrian Griffin, re-signed Brook Lopez, re-signed Chris Middleton to multi-year deals, Bobby Portis as well. So now you bring in Damian Lillard, who is this is what he's wanted over the last couple of years. A place where he could show his talents deep into the playoffs and playing with the top 3 player in the world, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's going to get that opportunity. They already were the number 1 seed in the East, and now they get a superstar and top 5 point guard in the league. It's kind of just adding more success. They already won a championship a couple years ago, but it was a little bit stagnant over the last 2 years. We know they got bounced out in the second round to the Celtics, and then they lost to Miami. They lost to 2 teams that ended up hosting the East, winning the East, in the NBA Finals. So they needed to make that next move. And I thought another big deal was also Giannis coming out on the 48 Minutes podcast saying, listen, I want to be a Buck, but we got to do some things. You have to make sure everybody's committed to winning. And I think he used his leverage. And a couple of days later, you just see Milwaukee come out of nowhere, put their names in the hat, and they were able to get a really good deal done. What's your thoughts on this, brother?
Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't think it's a bad trade for Milwaukee. I'll say that, okay? Let's at least get that out of the air, okay? I think it's a great move for Milwaukee. I think it's a great for their franchise to say, okay, Giannis was halfway out the door. If something didn't change mid-season, well, that's me speculating on that. So let me back up on that. Giannis put out I think it was something on Instagram, a post where it's like, hey, is he leaving? It kind of a lot of unsaid words in that one picture that he said, I'm coming out or I'm coming, I think it said. And apparently it's like, is he leaving, going somewhere else? So I think this reassures that Giannis is staying because Dame signed for a few years at least, and what you alluded to already with the re-signing of, I was going to say Jrue, but obviously he was in the trade, Chris Middleton at least, and Robinson as there as well. So this team is set at least to be the core for a few years now. And I think that's phenomenal for them to do that. The East, I'm going to say this not so aggressively, the East is kind of fragile right now. We don't know what Philadelphia is going to be doing. We don't know if Harden's going to be there. We don't know where he's going. When this trade happened, we didn't really know what puzzle pieces were going to fall into place for Boston either. They kind of were in shambles at the end. Almost got swept. Should have been swept. Fought back, but then fell short. How were they going to be mentally wise coming into the next season? Miami lost a lot of pieces to free agencies, signings elsewhere. We thought that they were going to be getting Dame, losing Hero. So now Buck said, hey, if anybody's going to improve, let it be us. Like, we upgrade Jrue, which Jrue is a phenomenal player, but let's upgrade with Jrue. You get Dame, who is a star. And you get someone now who can take over the fourth quarter when someone needs a score and Giannis doesn't disappear. He can't shoot the free throws. Giannis is a great player, but we've seen that happen. Yeah. So I think this is a great move by the Milwaukee Bucks. They seen an opportunity and they jumped on it. Miami drug their feet. I'll say that. But at the same time, well, we'll get into that probably on a side
Yeah.
here with this.
Yeah.
So great move by them. And also, granted, it's one of my team B for me, as you all fuss at me though. But great move by Phoenix, I think. You get Nurkic down there to possibly take over for Ayton, who should have been a guy at the number 1 pick. I know he's your favorite player and all. You get Grayson as well, who I hate to even say that, but at least he brings a tenacity to the defensive side and at least, a physicality, sometimes illegal, but at least it's there. Keon Johnson is still a developing player. So, I mean, they add that depth that we were worried about mid-season last year, like when they made the trades and they got KD. We're like, where's this going to come from when injuries happen, which happened last year? So there's players now that can fill those voids at least minutes for Phoenix now. So good move by them to get into this trade as well. So I feel like there's a lot of wins really on this trade. I don't think anyone got fleeced really. I don't think anyone got taken advantage of on this trade. Of course, I'm trying not to go too far because I know our next topic is going to what happened at the end of the week because we knew – I'll just pause there. So I think it was a fair trade all across the board. I mean, you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And from an X's and O's standpoint, it makes the most sense. You look at what Giannis does well. He's a great finisher, a great slasher.
Mm-hmm.
To go to the basket. We saw him training with Hakeem Olajuwon in the offseason, which I think is amazing. For him to have the self-awareness to understand I need to get better. I know Gilbert Arenas came out, and I think he was trolling a little bit, but I think it was great for Giannis to go work out with Hakeem. It doesn't matter what the price is. It's just like that could determine whether or not you win multiple championships. Kobe trained with him, Tim Duncan, LeBron, Dwight, all those guys trained with Hakeem Olajuwon. Shout out SeatGeek, of course.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
And he just continued to get better. And he's, like I said, he's one of the best finishers in the league. But they needed that closer, just to have Chris Middleton. He could be a great secondary closer. I never felt like he was a true closer. He had some really big moments in the playoffs and during that championship run and, throughout his time as a Milwaukee Buck. But they needed that superstar guy. When you look at Damian Lillard, he's closed series with game winners. You look at that OKC series in 2019. And then you look at in 2014 against the Houston Rockets in the first round. So, he's clutch. He's clutch. And now he gets an opportunity to show that in the Eastern Conference, with one of the with the best team in the Eastern Conference. I think they're the best team right now, and you have a great shooter, a great floor spacer, combined with the great finisher. Like, what are you going to do on that pick and roll? If you go under, Dame's going to shoot the three. He already has unlimited range. So regardless of where you set the screen, it's pretty much lethal.
You could go over and he still shoot the three.
Yeah, exactly right. and if you do decide to go over the screen, those are bounce passes, slip passes to Giannis, who's already in the league finisher, averaging 30 points a game. You got two guys averaging 30 damn near. Damian Lillard averaged 30, and I think Giannis averaged close to 30. So, I think it will be a grace period, early in the season, kind of figuring some things out because Middleton also, is going to want his shots as well. Mm-hmm. But I think it would just open up more opportunities if they move the basketball, and it's also going to come down to what type of coach is Adrian Griffin. He's a rookie head coach coming into a team with a lot of expectations now. The expectations were big, before Damian Lillard, just based off how they finished the season and how everything ended. But now when you add Damian Lillard to the fold, the expectation is automatic finals. That's it. Not
Eastern.
No,
Eastern. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. The expectation is NBA Finals for sure. And what he's coming from Nick Nurse's coaching tree. He's been around some other places as well. What is he like as a head coach? Will he be able to manage egos and then also from the X's and O's standpoint? Will he be able to maximize the talents of his two best players and also be able to keep the morale of some of the other guys that have been there but won't get the same amount of shots that they got prior to Damian Lillard's arrival. So
right.
It's going to be interesting, but I think this team still won 58 games last year. They're
And
still
get Dame.
exactly, and they get Dame. Yes, their defense will decrease a little bit. They were fourth in defense last year, and I think they were around like 14th in offense. So I think listen, if you get down to like say 8, in defense and 5 or 6 on offense, I mean that's the perfect scenario for them. In Milwaukee out there, I know a lot of people are talking about Lillard doesn't have the same type of perimeter defense as Jrue Holiday, but you still have two elite rim protectors on the back end with Giannis and Brook Lopez, 2 first-team all defensive front court. So he's never had that before. That's a luxury for him.
Right.
And so he's gonna having that behind you, knowing you have that behind you, you can be a little bit more aggressive on defense. Just coming over screens, biting on, getting on passing lanes because you have those 2 rim protectors back there to make some plays and alter shots. So I think this is a perfect fit. It's a great fit. Also, you look at both of the superstars. Nothing was given to them. Everything was earned. They weren't highly touted draft picks when they came out the draft and their draft classes respectively. Giannis came out of nowhere. Lillard, you could say Lillard came out of nowhere too because no one's ever been drafted in the lottery out of Weber State other than Damian Lillard. So, both of them kind of have the same mindset, same mentality. I think it's going to be a great fit. I can't wait to see it. Dame in the East now, so the games are going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy for sure. Yeah. He's already saw a couple clips of him shooting threes at the Buck facility, splashing threes. Of course, the zero looks clean and cream and green.
It does.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. So I'm excited for this pairing. And again, this is the last point before we switch to the other trade that happened today. This is what you want to do if you're a small market team. From Portland's perspective and Milwaukee's perspective. Mm-hmm. From Portland's perspective, you had a superstar player, but just whatever happened, regimes prior to the new one, Joe Cronin came in and he wants to create his own team and how he wants to build this team his own way. Drafting Scoot Henderson in the draft this summer. You have a highly talented, special future Hall of Fame player. You want to get the best deal possible to not only set yourself up for the present, but also set yourself up for years down the road. And I feel like that's exactly what they did. That's their outlook as a small market team. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the Milwaukee Bucks as a small market team. They already have a championship. They've won a bunch of games. They have a top 3 player in the league, but not staying complacent. Continuing to understand. Look, okay, yes, we won a championship. Yes, we're one of the best teams in the NBA. Regardless of whether the trade was activated or not, we were still going to be in the running to win a chip regardless because of the stature and because of the roster that they have. But continuing to understand, listen, we need to get the best players possible around Giannis. We're not a team that's really going to attract marquee free agents. Right. So this is the alternative. This is what you do. You use your assets. You use some players that may be good, and obviously Jrue Holiday was a big time acquisition for them a couple of years ago, and to them winning the championship against Phoenix a few years ago. Now using him as a way to acquire another superstar and then continuing to keep that main thing, which is obviously a championship. So I think this is a great move for all the teams really, and we're going to dive into it a little bit more later on. But great move for both small market teams and
absolutely,
and Milwaukee and Portland.
Yeah, we'll move on, but I just want to say again, like we both keep saying it, like it was really the best move, which we knew Portland was losing Dame. Dame already said it, but Portland put themselves in this situation to build for the future with some of the players they have, plus the picks that they have, and Milwaukee has sustained themselves to possibly be a landing spot for some free agents for probably the next 3 to 5 years now. So that's why I think it's great for both of them. But, of course, in the trade, we know that Jrue Holiday did go over to Portland with as guard-heavy as they are. We knew rumors were already hitting, and we knew that more than likely Jrue would be offered somewhere else up for a trade. So, maybe a day it was, 2 days possibly at the longest, and we already had that Jrue had been traded. We'll pull that up now. Jrue Holiday traded to the Boston Celtics, which, in my opinion, was phenomenal for the Boston Celtics because losing Marcus Smart, one thing that I kind of talked about, I think last week, was we don't really know what's going to go on there. Like, yes, you did get some of the players there, but that point guard, it's going to hurt a little bit. But I think Tatum will be fine there. Getting Jrue Holiday here, who is a shooting guard, who's a knockdown, but he can also, ball dominate. He can dribble better than Jaylen Brown. We know that. Can help as far as offensive flow creator here. So I think this was a great pickup by Boston, but I do hesitate a little bit on what they had to get rid of for him. I'll say that at least, but I'll turn it over to you and let you read your graphic here on what you got.
Yes. So this is from Woj again. The Celtics are trading Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, 2024 first-round pick from Golden State, a 2029 unprotected pick from the Boston Celtics to the Blazers for Jrue Holiday.
So 2 first rounds, Robert Williams,
rounders, 2 pretty much starters for Jrue Holiday. It looked like, obviously once the trade went down with Lillard, Portland kind of made it known they were looking for multiple first-round picks in the deal for a guy like Jrue Holiday. So it made sense. Malcolm Brogdon kind of made some comments about, the chemistry at the end of the season, so that that might have rubbed the Celtics front office the wrong way. And also, he wasn't available at the end of the season for the Boston Celtics, where they definitely could have used him against a really good Miami Heat team that we know won the Eastern Conference. So bringing in someone like Jrue Holiday, premier perimeter defender, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Everywhere he's been, he's impacted winning. Even when he was in Philadelphia early on, they went to the playoffs with Iguodala, Evan Turner, and those guys. It was a 5-game series, but it was a really good series against the Miami Heat during that time. Mm-hmm. Then he goes to the Pelicans, gets traded to the Pelicans, helped the Pelicans beat Damian Lillard's Portland Trailblazer team with Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo, and those guys in 2018. Was an upset against the 3-seeded Trailblazer team. And then even after Anthony Davis left, still was a solid player when they brought in Zion, Zoe, and those young guys from the AD trade. And then we know the big trade going to Milwaukee and helping the Bucks win the championship in 2021. So he's a winning player. He impacts winning. Everything he does is definitely is the epitome of winning basketball. So for a team like Boston, this makes the most sense. I think bringing in Derek White coming off the bench is, he's comfortable starting, comfortable coming off the bench. So, to have a guy like that who understands, he might be in either situation and it doesn't hurt his confidence, it doesn't hurt his morale. That's a perfect scenario, because there's some players out there that, may not necessarily feel comfortable with that, but he understands coming from San Antonio, just maximizing your minutes. I think a lot of players, especially young guys, don't really understand that. You have to maximize your minutes, and Derek White has done a phenomenal job of that since becoming a Boston Celtic. He's put himself in a great position to be a really good piece for this franchise going forward. And then you bring in Jrue Holiday. Look at the starting lineup. That's the thing for me, is the starting lineup. What are they going to do? Because right now it's projected to be Jrue. Some people have it Jrue, White, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis. Some other people have it Holiday, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, Horford. So I really just think it just comes down to matchups, right? Depending on who they play on a nightly basis, and obviously in the playoffs, who are they play, regardless of who they match up with, depending on who has the size, who doesn't, who's faster.
Right. Small ball, big ball.
Exactly what they want to do in terms of obviously exploiting mismatches, but I think even though Horford's up there, he's getting older, I think him playing the 5 is better for Porzingis. Even though Porzingis is 7'3", and one should assume that he should definitely be playing center. He had his healthiest season as a power forward last year with Gafford at the 5.
And he shoots like Gobert now, so he needs to play that 4.
Yeah, obviously, he's a floor spacer, and that's what he likes to do. I just don't think him.
I'm so glad you know when I'm being sarcastic, by the way.
Of course. So that's what he's comfortable doing. I think power forward is comfortable for him. He's just an extremely tall power forward. and then he could be a help defender on the help side. But they brought in Wayne and Gabriel. It was a solid pickup.
Absolutely.
I think it was a 10-day. They brought him in for a 10-day. And last thing for the Bucks too. Bucks brought in Cameron Payne.
Yes,
as their backup point guard. So that's a great pickup. He had 30 in that game against the Nuggets in the last. He was the only one that showed up. He had a really solid playoffs for them. But back to Boston. Yeah, this is a really good trade. I mean, you get an NBA champion on your team, and yes, you do give up some rim protection, but you give up two guys that had an inability to stay healthy. That's really what it was. I mean, they wouldn't have been in trade value, or it would have looked different if those guys were available, and if those guys really played a factor into them going back to the finals last year, which they weren't able to do. Maybe they hesitate. Maybe they say let's run back with these guys. But also you got to remember Brogdon was in that trade deal originally for Porzingis when they was going to keep Smart. So that that was the writing was on the wall with Brogdon, as I said earlier. And whatever lineup they bring out, I mean, it's just defensively, whatever they do, I mean, they're gonna be dominant. They're gonna be dominant, man. And the best thing for Holiday is he understands off the ball. Playing with Giannis, he's high percentage in catch and shoot threes last year, one of the best actually in catch and shoot three percentage. So his ability to play off the ball and space the floor, and if need be, he can be that point guard like you talked about at the top of the segment. But he knows stars are going to get the basketball. Brown, Tatum, Brown are going to get the ball. I mean, they're the two best players on the team, so they're going to get the most shots. So when it's available for them, and he's ready to hit those shots, and I think that's great for them. And he can help those young guys too get over the hump. If maybe they don't have maybe they're not down 0-3 and have to claw back. But the fact that they were able to do so with the guy like Jrue Holiday, I think it's going to make them even more scarier.
Oh, yeah. I think, man, Jrue Holiday, he needs to go into the season thinking, man, I don't care if I score 15 points. If I score that many, it's a good game, but I need to watch my assists and hope that I'm averaging at least 8 a game. Because, I mean, if you got Porzingis over there off of a pick and roll or a pick and fade with that, Al Horford with the pick and roll, Tatum over there. I mean, if you're creating anything and you even got Brown, hopefully you teach him how to catch and shoot. Like, man, that's all you need to be doing. Like, and as soon as you said that, as far as, Jrue Holiday playing off the ball, a good set catch and shoot person, thought, man, that's great for really Jaylen Brown to be learning from on that, because a lot of times he'll catch it and he'll triple threat, which of course you're supposed to, but then it's almost like he'll playground with it a little bit, jab. Oh, well, I guess I probably should have shot, indecisive a bit at times. And, hey, just go ahead and shoot the ball. Like, don't even play with it. Just do what you're supposed to do. So I think Jrue Holiday signing on there could be a good mentor for Jaylen's growth on this as well. So, I think it's great that they got him. I'm just more worried, not so much Brogdon, because I think Jrue Holiday somewhat replaces that as far as a shooter, not defense as well, not so much the height and the position of the defense is the Williams as far as that center person. That's what worries me most, because Horford, how old is he? 36 now? 38? Whew. So, I mean, he's up there. I mean, I don't think Boston's done, in my opinion. If you're going to make these moves and have that loose or weak chain as far as being the center, there's something else that they've got to be at least boiling up or thinking about that they can do here. I don't know what they do. Maybe they say, hey, Dwight, we need you for a few minutes each game for you and Al Horford to kind of make a one solid player between the two at your all's age. I don't know. And just maybe make it work. Limp through it until midseason and see what they can go with. That's my only hesitation on this trade is Robert Williams. Yes, he was injured, but he was also a big piece at the protecting the rim for them in games that he was there. Al Horford's a little bit not limited is what I'm trying to say on that with his age. He used to be great at it. Now he's decent, good, I guess. So that would be my only flaw, I'll say, is now I'm worried about the front court defensively, because to me, hearing Tatum play in the 4 scares me, because if there is a guy who can a 4 that has any size on him, to me, Of course, I'm old school a little bit, and that's probably not going to happen. A four playing with their back to the ball, or back to the goal. So it's a new era on that. So I guess it can actually work. Never mind. I'm changing as I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. If it was like how we saw in FIBA, like FIBA, the way they use their power forwards and their guys, they see a mismatch, they'll throw it down in the post and go work, go get that easy bucket, and then whether the defense wants to come and commit and double or not, that's on them. NBA, not so much. All those power forwards are at the
small forwards.
Yeah, stretch forwards. That's what they are. They're stretch forwards.
Small forwards. Yeah.
They're finesse forwards. They're not even power forwards anymore.
No, there's no power.
Yeah, it's just call them finesse forwards.
Yeah.
And so that favors someone
3.5.
Yeah, that favors someone like Tatum. Who, he could just, then most of those guys aren't skilled in terms of handling the rock and stuff like that. So he could kind of shade off those guys and just get back, use his athleticism to get back and close out. He could kind of be like a free safety a little bit, and double if need be. And then since those guys aren't just spacing the floor, they're just spotting up, come back and commit and make the proper closeout if need be. So
it'd be hard for a forward to guard him because he runs a lot of points. So I mean, if he's the 4.4, if you will, I mean it'd be hard for a defense to really match up on that. So I mean, I could see some flaws going on that, I guess.
Yeah, and Joe, that's really what Joe Mazzulla did last year. I mean, he just because what a lot of teams do, unfortunately, is they set screens. I mean, they switch. They switch on the screens. A lot of these guys don't like fighting over the screen.
They sure don't.
So that favors someone like Tatum, like Brown, like Holiday, who could also create his own shot. If
Holiday, Tatum.
If need be, to get a basket, and he doesn't even now. You don't even need to set the screen. He's at the power forward. He already has the mismatch as soon as he gets the basketball. So
Logan saying he just joined. Porzingis is going to be big for the Celtics too. I'll just say this with the trades that go on, and CJ, I think you agree with me on this. Porzingis has the greatest opportunity to play his best basketball ever because all the pressure's not on him. He doesn't have to. I don't think as far as the
outside
team
pressure. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, you've got Tatum, you've got Brown, you've got Holiday now. Like those are Porzingis really is the fourth best player on this team as far as getting the ball. As far as scoring option now. Sure. So like, hey, if I score 18, 20 points off of 3 offensive rebounds, putbacks or whatnot, pick and rolls and score a few for pick and fade because he ain't getting down there to bang with anybody we know. He's fine. Like that's acceptable in his role that he is now. So this is his best opportunity to say, hey, I'm a good fourth option.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, for Porzingis, it's all about availability, man. I mean, when he's out there on the court, he's a special talent. Obviously, for me, from my, if I'm coaching from a tall player, a lot of people on the show already know you need at least. I mean, you averaged 25 and 8. I would like to see that go up to 10 again because now, like you said, he's not getting all the shots. What else are you doing to impact winning? You're not going to you're not going to average 25 points on the Celtics. That's not happening. So if it's like 18, why can't it be 18 and 12?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like shed some of the points off and put it towards rebound. Put it towards some offensive rebounds.
Yes.
Create second chance points for your team because that's only going to make the offense even scarier. Especially if someone like him at his size and his skill set. Grabbing offensive rebounds because not only he could create his own shot off the rebound, he could also kick it out and give it to those 3 other guys like you mentioned. So that's what I want to see.
PJ versus the world does.
Exactly on 2K. Yeah. So
I take them notes. I got you, boo.
So like, is he willing to sacrifice and do the other things for winning, like a Draymond Green, like Draymond Green has done over the course of his career, and that's why he's a multi-champion. Knowing that he may not be elite at this, but I'm going to be elite at that. That's going to help the team overall. That's what I want to see from Porzingis. And again, availability, bro. That's really what it is for him. Is he going to get upset if he gets 12 points in a game and they win by 18? Like that because again, this is different territory for him. This is not a situation where he has to be the guy or the second best guy. This is like you could third. I'd still say he's the third best player in terms of value. I would say Holiday
Over.
because of the height and the skill set and the defensive ability that Porzingis can bring from a rim protecting standpoint and ability to space the floor and things like. But in terms of value and the winning identity, Holiday, because Holiday doesn't need, like I said, like we're saying, like with Draymond, like I said with Draymond, he doesn't necessarily need to score a bunch of points to have an impact. They're going to still need Porzingis to at least get 18 to 20 a night for them to, to continue to contend and be as dominant as we hope so. So that's the.
I'll disagree with you.
I'll say third scoring option. I'll say third scoring option for Porzingis. But in terms of value, I would still say Holiday. Yeah.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that. I mean, what is it?
Yeah, it's close. Yeah,
hairs.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, splitting hairs. Yeah, it's close.
Splitting hairs. Man, see, we're on that page. But so the main question with all this debate of what we've talked about between the Milwaukee's getting Dame, Jrue going to Portland, not unpacking, and then being shipped all the way across the country back to Boston's side, and with the Phoenix getting some of these other players, in which I kind of talked a little bit about it a second ago, is my question to you is, who won the trades?
Yes, sir. And we're going to pull up actually Portland's overall haul.
Oh, my goodness.
What they got in total for this massive trade over these last few days.
Yeah, because I'm glad you're actually giving us something that we can look at and read, because to keep it all straight, I am really lost. Because, honestly, some of the names that I felt like went to Portland, I don't know if they're in like a rebuild mode now or they're ready to compete now.
So, yeah,
compete. I'm not saying championship, but like they're there.
It's the West. If it was the Eastern Conference, I'd probably say I'd say it'd be interesting, but in the West, it's tough.
I wouldn't be surprised if
they're in a division with the Nuggets, and you wouldn't be surprised they make the play-in. Man, I can't go that far. I have to see everything. Because we don't know what Scoot's going to be yet. Shane Sharp in year going to another year.
So Logan says that he thinks Portland's going to trade Brogdon
for more assets. I mean, I can see that.
To me, do it instead of starting the season with him. Like that makes sense. But if you start the season with him, like I don't know why you would start halfway through the season, trade deadline, then trade him. Like I don't understand that.
No, I think they're gonna trade. I think they're gonna flip him. I can see a team like the Clippers, missing out on someone like Holiday. Mm-hmm. They could come in and use someone like Brogdon.
Miami could use him.
Sure.
Because we don't have defense and shooters really right now. I mean, let's get back to this. We can go on.
No, but I'm saying but yeah, that's a good point. But what's that connection between Portland and Miami after the talks? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, is it how's that relationship?
Right.
Is it severed?
If I'm Miami, I ain't trading nothing to them. So
I mean, okay. I mean, it looked like Pat Riley had the same mindset.
Right. There's rumor, and we might get into this too when we go to our next topics, but there's rumor they were asking way too much. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
Yeah, I did see that. They were asking for Jimmy and Bam, but I feel like I don't know how true those reports are, but again, I think they did that because Dame made it so adamant that I only want to go to Miami.
They wanted everything because
had he like weighed his options out early on, maybe he is a Miami Heat. But since for the last 60 days, 80 something days, it was Heat. That's it. I'm not going to any other team. And to the point where the NBA was investigating it. Remember like that little story, like how the NBA was investigating it, and Adam Silver told them like, figure this out. That's kind of crazy. So I think they kind of highballed it and kind of just made it like an unnecessary offer out there, just for Miami to say like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, call us again later when you got something that we could actually discuss about and negotiate. So yeah, that trade was a little crazy, but who won the trade, man? Honestly, man, I think all four teams came out victorious to me for all separate reasons. Phoenix, like, wow, I mean, this is what we talked about with the Suns, right? It was the depth. and how are they going to be able to obtain that? Because the free agency market was kind of bare. Really wasn't anyone of significance that that could really come in and maybe feel like, okay, this guy can make an impact. And they come in and we said it last week. We said it was going to be a 3-team deal. It had to be. There was no other way this was going to work. And James Jones, smart. He was smart, man. He's like, listen, we need depth. Ayton was kind of 1 foot out already, right? After everything that transpired
for his free agency, yeah,
exactly. After everything that happened with him and Monty Williams and what transpires with that, and there were reports that Frank Vogel was high on a player like Nurkic and what he could possibly bring to this Phoenix offense, and he's a fan of him defensively as well. So, man, it made the most sense. And he's getting paid a lot of money. I think Nurkic maybe has a year or a year or two left on his deal. So he's not as expensive as someone like Ayton would be down the road. So you could potentially flip Nurkic or move him later on if it doesn't work out, and still have some cap space to further help this franchise. So I think for Phoenix, it was great. It was great for them. They got some depth. Grayson Allen, knockdown shooter. I mean, listen, does he have some dirty tactics? Absolutely. But when it comes to floor spacing, knocking down shots, being a key guy coming off the bench, it's perfect for them. That's all they need. All they need is spot minutes with those three guys, those three snipers and shot creators that they have over there in Phoenix.
He is a spot-down player, that's for sure. I'll say it that way.
Exactly. All you need is spot minutes for those guys. Nasir Little, Keon Johnson. I don't know how much they're gonna. I don't know how much impact they're gonna have, but it's gonna be solid. Bowl. We'll find out, man. Obviously, it's gonna be a lot of hype. It's a lot of hype behind them now, more so than ever, because it's easy for people to get behind you and hype you up when you're playing for the Magic. Now you're playing for a team with title aspirations, right? So everybody's going to be watching you now. KD, Booker, Beal, you're coming off the bench. Kendrick Perkins came out and said you could be a defensive player of the year candidate earlier this week. So everybody's going to be watching him now. So he's coming off the bench for them. Nurkic, what is he going to bring? He's a guy that's battled with some injuries. I mean, their core, they all have some injuries. Injury concerns, so that's kind of an issue there. If you're a Suns fan, you just gotta hope the basketball gods are with them and they're all healthy at the right time to make a run. But yeah, I think Phoenix did a great job. Portland did a great job. I mean, this is what they acquired right here. Yeah, DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, Tamani Kamara, 3 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. That was better than what you were going to get from Miami, because Miami didn't have anyone as valuable as Jrue Holiday. Plain and simple.
Tyler Hero is better than Jrue Holiday. He went to Kentucky.
Yeah, I know you don't believe that.
You said, I know you don't believe that.
No, you don't believe that.
Carry on.
It was just going to be they got the best deal, man. They got the best deal. Seriously. And 3 first-round picks. Yes, a couple of those picks are later on, down the road, 2028, 2030, stuff like that. But hey, at some point they're gonna hold some type of value, especially if the young players that they already have, Scoot, Simons, Sharp, they could hit. And I mean, listen, the number one, the one name at the top of the list. What do you want to be? What do you want to be? I mean, you wanted touches, you wanted to be the guy or a guy, you wanted to be a focal part of the offense in DeAndre Ayton. This is your shot. Yeah. You're obviously going to be a starter. You're going to get a bunch of minutes. There's no backup that's going to challenge you. He looks.
This is chapter 2.
What'd you say?
I said this is chapter 2 for him.
Oh yeah, this is chapter 2. I mean, what are we going to get? What type of DeAndre are we going to get? Are we going to get the guy that came out of Arizona? It was dominant. Wasn't great defensively, but was good. What are we going to get from you? Are you going to establish yourself as a clear-cut top 5 center in the league?
Number 1 pick.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what he's been talking about this all off season. I finally beginning this off season followed him on Instagram, and it's been once a week at least. It seems like a picture of him working out, change the narrative, or I don't want the haters to hate me. Like I've never had this chance or something like that. So okay, you've got a fresh start now. Granted, you're not on my team anymore or my B team. You're on a new team that is trying to find a new identity that has a good young core of backcourt. They need a solid front court player to build around with that. You or Williams is probably going to be that guy. So who's going to step up and be that? You were the number one pick. You've showed us on the IG that you've trimmed some weight down. You've got more muscle tone onto you. You played decent in FIBA. So come into this and keep working at it. Like you are technically the leader of this team at the moment. You're the veteran, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yes.
Really, vocally wise, we'll see how much of a leader man he is for this team, because if they have volume, basically, okay, it's coming from him. But if they start they're playing a bunch of freshman, sophomore NBA players, it's because he's not setting the tone for them.
He has to set the tone. I mean, he's the guy in the middle. It used to be a time where the best players in the league were centers, were big men.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, right now, the two best players are big men. So, it's just they're just going to the big guys are always going to transcend the game because the taller guys are going to win. I mean, that's just the NBA. So, again, this is a great opportunity for him. He's gonna have opportunity to probably maybe be at least second leading scorer on the team. I don't know how that's going to play out. I mean, that's up to Chauncey Billups. And, is he going to be able to get the most out of those guys? Scoot's not really like a playmaker, but he could, he's kind of like a hybrid combo guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him, around that 5 to 6 assists per game range for sure. But Shaedon Sharpe continuing to improve as a 3-point shooter. Anthony Simons is already a really, really good 3-point shooter. That starting lineup looks pretty good. You got pretty promising. You could, I mean, if you want to, you could put Robert Williams at the power forward, Ayton at the 5, and then go Simon, Scoot, and Sharpe. What's up? You know what I mean? Like that's again Chauncey Billups. Where did Chauncey Billups come? I mean, he came from the defensive-minded era with
Big Ben, Rashid,
and exactly with the Wallace guys.
Yeah,
those guys were dominant defensively. So I could see them moving Williams and getting more assets. Or I could see them using Williams and, because he's still a young guy, he's still a young player, and he's really good defensively. And he could kind of mask a little bit of some of what Ayton doesn't do in terms of elite rim protection and things of that nature. So, I think they did great. They did great. Brogdon, I think they're going to move Brogdon. Brogdon, to me, seems like a guy that wants to go to a contender. I mean, he just came from a contending team. So, as I'm saying, I could see a team like the Clippers, maybe Miami, maybe Golden State, something, one of these other teams like that could come around and, have a solid offer for them if it's definitely suitable, or he could come off the bench.
Right.
You got Anthony. I feel Portland wins the trade, especially if the Bucks don't win. And so it would just future looking bright. But then remember, they have to hit on those draft picks now. You got to hit on the picks to truly win. Like right now, yes, they absolutely won because they have everything everything handed to them right now. They have all the options. But when the draft comes around, you got to hit on those picks to truly say, okay, we officially won the trade.
Right. And Portland has a history of hitting on those picks too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Lillard, Aldridge, Roy,
Bowie,
McCollum, Nurkic,
Greg Oden
came in the trade. Yeah, I mean, that was. I mean, I'm talking post Oden. They've done pretty good.
Right, they have.
They've done pretty solid in terms of finding a franchise.
Especially the past decade, we'll say that. Yeah, but I'm not even really worried so much about the immediate picks, yes, but like the 2029 picks, I think that's hopefully the future or the vision is that they've sustained themselves and are being relevant with the West, that those picks are going to be moved for trades to keep bettering them on, because I would assume first round pick in the 2029 with the team that you already have is going to be so developed. That should be a late round pick, in my opinion. So I'm thinking, man, you're getting those if you need them. That's great. But I'm hoping those are movable picks to get veterans back to where you are contending. in the next 3 to 5 years.
Exactly. And I mean, we kind of already pretty much talked about the significance of what Holiday and Lillard bring respectively to the teams that they're on now. So I think this was a great trade for all four teams, man. Great weekend for all four teams. The facts, yeah, exactly, yeah, bro. I mean, they have to. So I think it was a great weekend. Like I said, I mean, they did a great job. Joe Cronin did a really good job. I mean, this is his first job. The key is Scoot Henderson, 1,000%. 1,000%. I mean, he's the guy.
Or Sharp. I mean, if you play Kentucky, you're key anyways.
I mean, his upside.
He didn't play, I guess.
His upside is unlimited. I mean, his leaping ability, shot creation. He continues to work on his game. Definitely be a solid small forward / shooting guard in this league, no doubt about it. So, but yeah, the key is Scoot for sure. I mean, he's number 3 pick. That's the guy.
So CJ, I want to get into the more serious conversation here. Okay.
Appreciate you.
I'm trying to compose myself here.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate that. My name is Michael as well. Like, you can say, by the way, Michael, too. It's cool. But CJ, what's next for Miami Heat?
Yes. Yeah, this is a funny meme. This is a funny meme I'm about to
pull up. No. Please don't be the one where Pat Riley's asleep. I seen one where it had like a dog. It was in the shower asleep, licking the water, and so it said, "This is Pat Riley right now." Like, man, that hurt my feelings, but it's true.
This is the Kevin James meme from King of Queens. So they got Bucks, Damian Lillard, Celtics, Jrue Holiday, and then they got Miami Heat with Kevin James kind of just looking like, "Hey man, what you want me to do?" kind of face. And that's kind of what Miami Heat fans are going through right now. Obviously, Michael being a big fan of the Heat. What's your thoughts on all this, man?
It hurts.
Biggest L.
It hurts.
Is this
it
L
really
worse
does.
than the L against the Nuggets in the finals?
Well, see, this was our fallback plan. If we lose in the Eastern after being up 3. It was like, oh, man, if we don't make it, like, Dame's coming. And then it was like, even if we lose to the Nuggets now, we know Dame's coming. So it's totally fine. If we win it, Dame won't come, but we got the ring. So no matter what, we've got our savior just waiting to be traded here. Well, hate to tell it, but he didn't show up. But I will say this. It sucks not getting Dame in this trade, but it was at least a little bit of a peace of mind once that I've seen what they were asking for as far as the Portland Trailblazers. And I try not to get into it too much, but apparently Portland was trying to counter with us and not accept the Tyler Hero and whatever else offer. They never really pushed the knowledge of that too much, other than Hero was in it. And, of course, picks. But apparently Portland was either wanting Jimmy Butler or Bam. Well, obviously, Bam isn't going anywhere because Dame said, Bam's my guy. I want to play with him. And obviously, Himothy isn't going anywhere after last playoffs. I mean, when you become Hemi, you ain't going nowhere in Miami. So I think Portland, and to me, if I was Lillard, I'd almost take that as a slap in the face by the team that I was loyal to. Like, I told you I wanted to go there after being so loyal and staying here for so long that was really the asking price to not let me go to the team I wanted to. In a way, I felt like Portland was trying to not let him go where he wanted to. Now, it could be me just being tender. Could be me, my wounds are still open because this trade didn't happen. But that's the way I took it. You're going to really ask for those caliber players, and then you get Jrue Holiday and you already trade him in the other trade. Like, come on, man. Like, there's a little difference there. But it also hurt, too, when I heard that Phoenix Suns in the 3-way trade that we knew that would had to happen to make anything go on with this, that the Phoenix Suns showed interest in Kyle Lowry. Like, to move off of Kyle Lowry, I think would have been nice to be able to get Dame, lose Kyle Lowry's, and possibly have some more money freed up to make moves elsewhere on some sort. Because Pat Riley, when he is awake from between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., he makes magic happen. So That would have been nice. Lowry does do well for the 5 to 10 minutes that he's in a game. You know, he'll get you a few crucial buckets, and he makes chubby guys happy that they are able to play and run quick and be fast and score in the NBA. But it would have been nice to be able to move that and possibly get value of some sort. My Phoenix was looking for backups. They just signed Cam Payne, as we talked about, which is wonderful for them. Let's hope Miami would have got him. But anyways, it seems like in the past 4 months, Miami has been doing nothing but being in the spotlight of what we want and not getting. And I'm not used to that being a Miami Heat. So I don't know what's going on, man. Like, this is crazy. Like, if this would have been first month of the preseason, or not preseason, but off season, and we said, Dame, we want you. Let's make this happen. And then he goes to Milwaukee. Okay, that's fine. Let's re-sign Strus. Let's re-sign Vincent. Let's keep our team together, exactly who we got. Let's run this back, and let's keep on going for what we have. We were unhealthy last season. We probably were. I think the stat was like they were the fourth worst team playing their core five throughout the whole season. So, I mean, that reflects a little bit of the record throughout, we can say. So, but the timing just didn't work out well for Miami Heat and all this. Like, it lasted 3 months before he actually got traded. And then our other players like, hey, if you're coming with Dame, obviously you're either going to trade me if I sign to get this. I don't want to go to rebuild Portland. Let me either go to Cleveland, who's developing, where I think Strus went, and Vincent went to the Lakers, where, I mean, heck, if you could go play for Portland, who's rebuilding, or the Lakers, who is always relevant with LeBron, AD, you're going to go there and make money. So I don't know, man. Like, everything that could have went wrong for Miami Heat in this deal went wrong. The time how long it took, the longevity of the whole trade, the players signing elsewhere. What are we supposed to do now? Like, I worry too, because what's Tyler Hero even thinking? Like, hey, man, I've been all summer long thinking I'm going elsewhere. On his Instagram, he's got all kinds of posts where he don't have anything on his shirt where it used to say Miami Heat. You can tell he's taking it off. He's like, nobody else wanted me. Nobody wants me. Like, he may come into this season with a chip on his shoulder and be like, hey, let's go. Like, you got me. Let's run this and go with it, because it's Heat culture. Him and Jimmy Butler are pretty good friends. I feel like Jimmy mentors him in somewhat of a way to try to get him to be that, cutthroat mentality to score at will. So hopefully, Jimmy goes up to him and says, a lot of people passed on me. Chicago traded me. They sent me to the Timberwolves, where that was a train wreck. I went to Philadelphia, where they chose Tobias, I think it was, over me. And so I have been passed on basically elsewhere, but I made my home here. So we're a team full of misfits. We're mostly undrafted players prior year, but yet we put it together and we win. So hopefully he can change that mentality and say, hey, this is what you missed out on, and let's prove to the world why Tyler Hero is a reigning player, sixth man of the year, earned a starting spot, got hurt, and we lost him for a while. And let's keep on growing with what we got. That's the only thing we got to go on. But I hope we can heal those wounds that we've caused there. What do you think about it?
Yeah, massive loss for the Miami Heat. Again, because
no worse than New England today to the Cowboys.
That was bad. That was bad. It wasn't. It might have been worse. It's up there. They're neck and neck.
I just had to throw that in. It was a shot.
You're good. But here, the silver lining I'll say before I break down as to why they really lost was this is just Miami, bro. I mean, they always, or at least post LeBron, right? They kind of have this underdog mentality of being counted out. They're like this season. Got a bunch of guys that no one really accounted for. I like what you said about Tyler Hero. He could definitely come in there with the chip on his shoulder, as he should. I mean, he's still on the team, still getting paid. So, listen, man, do your job. Right? Yep. Do your job. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's unfortunate because so many Heat fans were expecting this and all the trade scenarios and
It was a
everything.
done deal.
It looked like it at certain points for sure. But let's also not forget. I mean, yes, you guys got to the finals, but wasn't the easiest road in the regular season. And you guys weren't a great regular season team. And looking at the roster right now, I mean, yes, you get Hero back from the injury, but he kind of played the majority of the season last year. The guys weren't a great scoring offense in the regular season. So what and those were guys that contributed in the playoffs for you guys, Strus and Vincent, and the players that you mentioned. So now you don't have those guys at all. Who's going to step up?
Has to be
Jovic. Is Jovic going? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he stepped up, but it's like can he take it to another level? We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of expectations on him to take it to another level. But is it going to be Jovic, Jaquez, the rookie that they drafted from UCLA? Will those two players look at the opportunities like, hey, I'm going to get a lot of minutes here with Jimmy, with Bam, being coached by one of the best in the world.
Yep.
Let me capitalize on this. I feel like this is a great opportunity for them to do so. That's a lot to ask for two young guys that haven't gotten any minutes really in the league. But that's what they're going to have to lean on. That's what they're going to have to depend on, because even in the regular season, Jimmy doesn't play, 75 games. If he gets hurt, he may take some time and then come back and kind of do his thing. But hey, he has the ball. He has the ball this season and really show out. He has to really show out and have a great regular season and a great playoff run again. I mean, this is what is expected when you establish yourself as a superstar type player. You can't just play well in the postseason and then kind of coast in the regular season. It doesn't work that way. And he's had some solid numbers in the regular season as the Heat, of course, but now you have to bring it all together. And I'm pretty sure come training camp, when those guys do come in the next week or so, I 1,000% that's going to be their mindset. They're going to push those guys. They're going to get the most out of all the guys that they do have. But talent still rules all. And that was the reason why you guys were so adamant in trying to get Damian Lillard, because you needed that extra piece of talent you got to the finals, but to win it, you needed that extra piece. And unfortunately, you weren't able to do so. So where does that really put you guys in the East? Because, we look at you like, you went to the finals, but in the regular season, which we're back to now, this is a new season, you guys were 8th. It's tough. It's tough to the Heat. They're so tricky like that because of the players that they do have, and obviously Eric Spoelstra. You just never can count them out. So this is a big deal, man. They need to do something. They need to do something. I just feel like it's kind of just naive to just rely on 2 young players and be like, oh yeah, those guys had to step up and be dominant right away. Jovic had a solid FIBA World Cup with Serbia. Mm-hmm. Solid, played well, showed some flashes, be able to create his own shot, space the floor. Just played well defensively. He looked good. He did. Jaquez as well he's gonna play well. Smart guy. Was in college for a couple of years, so he's not one of these guys. He should be ready to go.
There was rumor I seen yesterday. Sorry to interrupt. I thought you was done. That Embiid may be a person that Miami goes for. I think that would be dumb, actually, because who are you going to give up for that?
That's what I'm saying. It's the same discussion for Lillard. I mean, the Sixers aren't going to want Tyler Hero, and what other third team out there is going to give up a center that would be suffice enough for
MVP? MVP.
Yeah. I don't. I think the Embiid talks are kind of circular because he did come out and tweet like, what a wild off season, LOL, after Jrue got traded to the Celtics. Like, this is a wild off season. So a lot of people are speculating, but I don't think anything's going to happen at the trade deadline. I think maybe next year next year the discussions will definitely come about. But right now, Embiid's not going anywhere, man.
Yeah, because my whole thought process on that is there's 2 guys, in my opinion, that are untouchable, and that's Bam and Jimmy Butler.
Oh. Even for Embiid, I mean, of course not.
Right. But I mean, I would think that Pat Riley would try to do everything he could to keep those. And to me, if you're able to keep Bam, why would you want Joel Embiid? Because
Right.
they pretty much, I won't say they're the same player, but that's going to impact or pack in that front court quite a bit, because Bam has a 15 and in shot when he shoots it. And Embiid, I mean, he can shoot a three. I mean, he's extended out a little bit.
You don't want
But
to
like, but most of the time in Miami's history in the past 5 years or so, since Bam's been there, Bam has pretty much been a 5 on defense as far as guarding people all over the place. And they have a 4 defense. And then when it comes to the offense, he's setting the pick and rolls and everything. And that 4 guy becomes, or I'm sorry, the 5 guy becomes the 4. I said that totally backwards. On defense, Bam's guarding the 4 because he can guard the stretch and everyone picks and everything from 1 through 5, really. And they have a big guy who can guard the 5, but that guy is a good shooter who then on offense plays the outside more, becomes that stretch 4 on offense while Bam is underneath. Linkage, I think of who they just have a perfect Kevin Love in that situation as well. Who did I say? A linkage, I think.
Yeah,
Olenek. You know who I mean.
Wow. I was confused at first. I was
wow.
like,
Olenek. Sorry.
Else. Yeah.
So, those are those players that they've had in the past that worked well with Bam's lineup, because offensively, he's limited on a shot range. They maximize him well as far as pick and rolls and getting him in the spaces that he needs. I mean, he's a good ball handler. He's just not fancy. He probably turns it over on the dribble less than Jaylen Brown does. But he just can't shoot the 3 and spread out the offense. And that's where the Kevin Love comes in, the old Linux, not the old whoever I said. And so I don't know why Embiid would be a person of interest if they're keeping Bam. And to me, that changes everything Miami.
Yeah, nah. If Embiid's on the market and Miami's looking at Embiid, Bam is out of there. There's no way. Because there's no way they're going to be able to keep all 3 guys.
Right.
That's impossible. So you guys have to do. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting start to the season for the Miami Heat for sure, bro. Because yes, you consider them the best team. Like, you consider them one of the best teams, sure. But from a roster talent perspective, it doesn't necessarily look that way right now.
Right.
Come playoff time, you can't sleep on them. Got to get them out of there and forward. You can't give them any type of life. But right now, regular season, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great, and I feel for Heat fans. I feel for you, Aaron. I got another friend, Aaron. There's also a Heat fan. Couple guys.
Washington.
Aaron Washington. Yeah, and
okay.
the other guy, Aaron Pena too. I feel for you guys, because it's like, okay, we lost. Cool. We're gonna get out Dame. We're gonna get out Murray and Dame, right? That's what you guys were expecting to get your dynamic point guard. But it just didn't work out that way. And again, you kind of have to look at Dame too, because as I said earlier, he just made it so obvious. Like, Miami, that's it. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm not taking any offers. And then as he realized, like, this is not where I'm going to go. Then it was, okay, Milwaukee, Toronto, that's when you started to see the teams come about. So just a tough off season for the Miami Heat, man. And, they do have the players at their core with the back against the wall, chip on the shoulder mindset. So I do think you guys will recover. But in terms of talent, I don't know how many wins that's going to amount to.
Let's not talk about that part. But I'm going to bring in Anthony's comments here. Anthony, if you're still in here, I wasn't trying to not bring them up. It's just sometimes it's hard to bring them up while we're in conversation. Of course, I do think Tyler has the ball out. I don't see him leaving Miami unless it's to a team like LA. Ooh, young kid like Hero loves living in Miami. I agree with that. Like he has bought into being a Miamian, if that's a word. So yeah, I think now he just stays. I think that's the best option for Miami.
Yeah, listen, I mean, he's homegrown. Just like Bam. He's coming off he was injured. It's like, again, he's getting paid. He had a nice extension a couple of years ago. So he's living in Miami. Like, of course, you don't want to be in trade talks. That's not the best situation. You don't want your name circled around like dangling around like here you take this for that. Or, we'll get rid of Tyler. That's okay. You don't want to. It might hit your ego a little bit as a person, but when you look in the mirror and you look at your bank account and your situation, you're still in a great situation, a great scenario. So, and it gives opportunity to show out in this and continue to establish himself as, he should be a number 2 scoring option. Really, I don't really view Bam as like a primary elite scorer, right? He does everything else pretty well, but can Bam go out there and get 30 in a playoff game? We saw it a couple times a couple years ago in Boston when Jimmy got hurt. It was like, okay, like I thought we were going to see more of that, but he kind of 18, 11, cool. That's what he, and then of course what he brings defensively. There's nothing wrong with that, bro.
Right.
Because we see the value and what it's brought and where it's got you guys too. So, but it's just
casuals don't think Bam's that good, because he's not getting those 20, 25 points.
Well, that's why they're casuals, right?
Right. So I mean, we do need someone to help because I mean, if you're thinking about it, if Bam's scoring 30 points and having, we'll say 8 rebounds, he's also usually getting 3 to 5 assists, which I mean it's low, but I mean he's getting assists. That's good, yeah. And then on the other end of the court, he is the complete anchor for that 2-3 defense. Like I'd say that as strong as I can because he's got peasants basically on the wings for as far as help rebounds. Tyler Hero, I mean he's put on muscle, but he's pretty much still skin and bones down there trying to battle for rebounds. Like it's Bam and 4 guards that are playing a 2-3 zone. And even against Boston, he was up on Al Horford at the top of the key guarding the 3. And by the time they worked the ball around to the corner, he was already busting his tail back to the strong block to guard. I think it was Grant Williams that was there. Like he's covering so much ground and exhausting himself on defense that we need to be, as Miami Heat fans, need to be happy with those 20 to 25 points if he gets those.
Absolutely, I agree, and that's exactly what. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just finding that second scorer, bro. That's really what it is. It's finding that second primary scorer. I think we lost Michael. Kind of frozen, bro. Yeah, we're going to transition to this next topic. Hopefully we get Michael back. He's frozen right now. So we're going to say, what's the best team in the East, right? Looking at everything that's going on, obviously the big 2 moves with Jrue going to the Celtics and Damian Lillard going to the Bucks. I'm gonna take Milwaukee. I'm gonna take Milwaukee. They won 58 games last year. Yes, I know their season ended in disappointing fashion, losing to the Miami Heat, but adding a player like Damian Lillard, what he's going to bring to that offense, the floor spacing, how much more open shots he's going to create for his teammates, just like Giannis already creates a bunch of open shots. That screen action with Lillard and Giannis, I mean, outside of Murray and Jokic and Bron and AD, to me, that's as good as it's going to get in the NBA. I think I had put a poll out on my IG story and asked a couple of my followers, like, where would you rank that duo? A lot of people had a top 3, and I'm gonna still say top 5 because they do have to, obviously reach the goal. If they get to the finals this year, I would put them in the top 3. But you still have to accomplish stuff. Everything looks good on paper, and I do think they're going to excel and be great. But we have to see it. We have to see it. So I'm gonna say top 5 for now, because I do think some of those other duos have done more together in terms of winning. But yeah, man, that dynamic is going to be special. I think it's going to be special, man. I think it was a perfect pairing. And Michael talked about it a little bit. He said Giannis isn't the best free throw shooter. It's kind of similar. I'm not going to compare. I'm not. It's just what we've seen over the last pretty much the entire history of the NBA, right? You see a great guard and a great big, Kobe, Shaq, West Chamberlain, Parker, and Tim Duncan, Murray, and Jokic this year, right? That's what we've seen. We've seen dynamic guards, dynamic bigs be dominant in the NBA. So I think the Bucks right now, to me, are going to be the best team in the Eastern Conference, and then the Celtics are right there at 2. I got the Celtics right there at 2. I think they're just both teams are on a completely different level above everybody else. Then from there, I think Philadelphia is still going to be good, right? I don't know what's going to happen with the James Harden situation. I have no idea. Will he get traded? Will he sit out? Will he come back? I have no clue, man. I just think as two grown men, being Daryl Morey and James Harden, for the relationship that they've had for so long, you would think at some point they could come together and have a conversation. Maybe not. I don't know. Harden's are pretty adamant and saying he's a liar. So if he's still stuck in his feelings, I have no idea how that's going to play out. If he does play, you got to put them right there still one of the top teams in the East. Cavs, I like the moves that the Cavs made. J.B. Bickerstaff, again, being the head coach there, bringing in Strus, re-signing some other guys. Donovan Mitchell, year 2 with this team. I think they're going to continue to get better. Evan Mobley, high on Evan Mobley. I think he needs to take that next step, in my opinion, to establish himself as one of the top rising young players in the league. If he does that, they're going to be right there. And then I got the Knicks. I got the Knicks, of course. I got my squad. Really didn't make groundbreaking moves in the offseason, right? Bringing in DiVincenzo, but I think it's a great move because we needed floor spacing. The Knicks needed floor spacing, no doubt about it. They needed someone that could bring some grit, heart, similar to like what we see from Brunson and Josh Hart. I think he fits perfectly with the identity of the team. So those are kind of be my top teams in the East right now, but hands down, Milwaukee and then Boston are just in a different class on their own.
Sorry, apparently my laptop died. I've got it plugged in. My cable, the charger, is like hot, very on fire. So I'm hooked up to my phone here. We'll just keep rolling with this. Hopefully it charges up. I do apologize on that. But I am back. So 100% agree with you as far as best in the East. Milwaukee just puts them above everyone. They are the superior in the East now. Philadelphia could be, but we don't even know what's going to go on from here on out. We as Embiid said, as you already said, it's been a wild offseason, and we don't know what Harden's even thinking. If we're going to get fat Harden in a week or two when they show up to preseason and whatnot on that. So we'll see. I personally think Philadelphia is going to fall out of the top 5, in my opinion, because I don't think Harden will be there. But I do think Boston has set themselves at the number 2. I think the gap is close, but I do think there is a gap now that the Bucks have Dame. And Miami, man, it sucks.
Yeah, it's weird with Miami, man. I like the Nets too. They're kind of in that second, third tier. Yeah, they're in that kind of that's I guess second tier to me. Because I think that second tier is a bunch of other teams, not named obviously Milwaukee and Boston. You can put the Nets in there, and obviously that's going to come down to what you get from Simmons, right? What type of player you're going to get from him. Is he going to be available, productive, impactful, and complement with McCall Bridges and Cam Johnson? That's a pretty good core. To me, that's a pretty damn good core. Jock Vaughn back as the head coach. Still got a boatload of draft picks that they acquired in the Kyrie and KD deals.
Mm-hmm. But just as least quickly, I know we're about to get into power rankings here soon. As far as East, just kind of quick with it, I would say Bucks, Celtics. I'm still a believer in the Cavs and then the Knicks. And then I'm going to put at number 5, I'm going to think that the Nets have a chance to be there. I think they can be surprisingly there. And then I'm going to say the 76ers and I may be forgetting some teams there, but then I'm going to say Miami and then on out.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
you flipped the Knicks. Knicks
yeah. Of
and
course, of course. Yeah. I mean, we beat them in the playoffs, so it's like in pretty convincing fashion. But yeah, those are the top teams. Those are the top teams for sure.
Right.
All right, let's get to the FanDuel. They dropped post Damian Lillard trade. They dropped their NBA power rankings, and we're gonna get Michael's reaction to this. What's his thoughts on
That's my reaction. You see that?
on the top 30 teams according to FanDuel?
Yeah, it's just East and West. Oh man,
This
I
is
can't blow it
all
up. I'm on my
teams.
phone. Whew. Let's see here. Can I make this enlarged? No. Sadly, you're going to have to tell me the teams because I can't
Okay.
see it on my phone.
Okay, no problem. All right, number one, we got Milwaukee, Denver, Phoenix, the Lakers, Celtics, Sixers, Kings, Clippers, Mavericks, Grizzlies, Cavs, Warriors, Knicks, OKC, Miami at 15, Pelicans 16, Timberwolves, Nets, Rockets, Pacers, Hawks, Jazz, Raptors, Magic, Bulls, Pistons, Spurs, Trailblazers, Wizards, and to round out number 30, Charlotte Hornets.
Whew. Okay, it's actually on my TV now. Yes, shamelessly, I watch this on YouTube while we're live. I don't love the Dame trade, and I do think it's finals or bust. But I don't see how you can put anyone ahead of the Nuggets. They're the defending champions by big time, so I have them number one. I'm okay having the Bucks at number two with the moves that they've got that they've made now. I do like the Suns at number three, the Lakers at four. I'm iffy on that. They have the potential. If LeBron can play a healthy season, AD a healthy season, the upcoming players of Reeves and so on, and the additions that they made, I'm not too upset, but ahead of the Celtics, that's odd to me. So I'd say Celtics at four. 76ers, I have down the list. I would have probably 76ers out of the top 10 looking at this list here. I'm okay with the Kings being in the top 10, the Clippers top 10, the Mavericks top 10. I don't think the Grizzlies are top 10. They don't have Ja for 20, 25 games. I think Cavaliers
So
are
you don't
top
think
10 too.
you don't think a team with Joel Embiid reigning MVP is not a top 10 team in the league?
Because I don't think Harden will be there. And if he's there, even when we talked
But
about
what we said about Harden, though, right? Like he doesn't show up. So
let's see here. Sixers, I've got them at 50 wins. You also have them at 50 wins. But I don't think that they are a top 10 team. I mean, do you think they're better
you winning
than
50 games, you're not a top 10 team.
I mean, do you think they're better than the Clippers? If Clippers are healthy?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? If the Clippers are healthy, when is that? Never.
Well,
So
but right now everyone's healthy. So like this is a list of everyone being healthy. So you have to assume that they're healthy all year. So no, I mean I would have the Clippers over the 76ers.
okay,
I would have
yeah, but I still have Sixers in the top 10. Like if he was doing Cavs versus Sixers right now, I mean, if Harden does play, right, and those are the ifs right now. Harden's still on the team. I would take the Sixers in that series.
in season, yes, they do well, but when it comes to playoffs, they take.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying in the season.
But yeah, this is a season
we know the
season
playoffs.
ranking.
Yeah.
So
We know the playoffs.
so I mean,
but
okay, I'm with you. I understand. I mean, I'm with you. Okay, I'll put them at 10. I'll at least do that because I mean they're not getting out of the second. They may not even make it to the second round. But as far as in season, I mean, yeah, they're going to be good year in year out as always. But I don't buy into them. I guess. How do you feel of the Knicks being 13?
I mean, I don't. I mean, I obviously disagree with it. I don't see how they're I don't see how the Cavs are better than us. I mean, they
They
added
are.
Max Strus. I don't see how. I mean, I really don't. They added Max Strus. He's a good shooter.
But he's not that
But
piece to put you over from last year. I agree.
yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. But I don't know. I guess they're probably looking at again Evan Mobley's upside, right? They think he's going to take another step as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell. If you were to rank the players between the team, if you were to rank players in between those teams, obviously Donovan Mitchell would be the best player out of the two teams, sure. But it doesn't. That's not necessarily how it should always work. But I disagree with that. Grizzlies. I think Grizzlies. That's just based off of one, how well they've played in Ja's absence over the last couple of
Right.
years, and bringing in Marcus Smart was a big pickup. Derrick Rose coming in there is going to get opportunity to play more. Pretty much sat the whole year, so you should be healthy. He didn't play at all last year for the Knicks, so you should be relatively healthy to come in and at least contribute, at least until Ja comes back. Desmond Bane, Triple J, all those their young core, taking another step, continuing to develop. So Grizzlies is fine. Mavs, yep, cool with that too. Clippers, yeah, again, it's regular season. I hope they're available, right? I mean, Ty Lue came out and said we need these guys in the regular season. We'll see. I mean, it's just sad. One of the saddest stories in the NBA over the last half decade, for sure, is that team. Just because their inactivity between the two guys, between the two stars. Golden State, I think Golden State, yeah, they lack the size, but yeah, of course. I mean, what are they going to look like on the road this year? That's the question. We'll kind of get into that in the next topic, and when we break down their division. But I get it. They got Stephen Curry, so I get it. 13 is not bad to me. I mean, listen, we're outside of the top 5. It's all fair game to me. I mean, from 7 to 15 is, to me, you can make an argument. I mean, again, Clippers have talent, right? They got the two talented guys, and then Golden State does have Steph Curry. Outside of those two teams, and the Mavs, they got Luka and Kyrie, but I want to see how that plays out as a duo, for a full season. But outside of the top 5, you can make a case for all those other teams, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not that pressed about it.
Okay, I think it's crazy that the Jazz are 22nd, and that's behind the Hawks, Pacers, Rockets over there at the 21st, 20, and 19. I feel like they are better than that. And I think they keep improving.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, based on how they got it, they're looking at stars. And the Jazz, marketing is really good, but is he that star player that could carry a team to the playoffs? That's the question. That's the question.
Know what? Shout out marketing. I don't know if you've seen on one of the social medias. I can't remember. He just finished his mandatory military training that where he's from. I can't remember. Is he from
Finland.
Israel? Finland.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's shed a lot of weight as well, toned up as well. So a lot of people are expecting even better this year at what he's went through as far as the military training, what he's got going on coming in the season, already well in shape that he may have another great, outstanding season.
For sure. I mean, he's a talented player.
Excuse me.
Again, I mean, in this conference, you need at least one guy to be like, yo, this guy can get us to the playoffs. Then you need two. Then you need two. You need two guys to say, yo, we could win a championship. They have one. They don't have. We don't know if they have one because the Jazz didn't make the playoffs. So I can see why they. Hawks got Trae Young. He got them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers. It's a little. I mean, we're high. We're high on the Pacers. We think the Pacers are going to be really good. But they still have a lot to prove as well. Rockets, I gotta see it.
That's
Van
star
Vliet,
power
Brooks.
and headlines, I think, on that one.
Yeah. Van Vliet and Brooks. Are those guys needle movers? We'll find out, right? Is Jalen Green, Jalen Smith, and Alperen Şengün taking that next step to be that true core 3 for the Rockets? That's a big question. So, again, that's what I'm saying. Like outside of, from Brooklyn down is you can make cases. It's really interchangeable to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way I see the way they made this list is a lot of it's star driven. Of course, I mean because that's what the guys they're going to win you the most games.
Yeah.
You got the Pelicans at 16. Why B.I. Zion, right? I mean, it's just because it's a fresh slate, right? Because again, there's no ifs right now, and this is calm. This is calm. The top five, I'd have this. This was pre-holiday, right? So I could maybe see why they had the Lakers 4, right? But right now, yeah, I would put the
Bucks at 1.
Yeah. I'd put the Nuggets at 1. I'd put the Nuggets at 1. They're the champions, right? And then I'll put Milwaukee at 2, Phoenix, Boston, and the Lakers. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just minor.
They got the right team, just a little tweak.
Just a little tweaks. Just little tweaks. And I mean, this was pre-holiday trade. So, they might trade. They probably might change it up.
Because
OKC 14. I mean, that means they're a playoff team.
Yeah. Am I the only one that really thinks that Grizzlies are going to take a big step back, not having Ja for these 25 games?
What's a big step back? Like, what do you think that record's going to be? Like, can they go 13-12? I think they could go 13-12. Can they go 12 and what? Can they go like 500, above 500? Like, that's all they need to really go. Really, I mean, if Ja comes in there for the next 57 games, what's up?
I just don't think they're top 10 without this. I mean, that's my big thing. Like, I mean, top 10 teams without their very star player. Now, again, 2 years, probably, I think it is 2 or 3 years removed from Ja missing a few games and they going on a win streak without Ja. I think it was like 12-game win streak without him. So, I mean, they play well without him. Steven Adams back, right? So, I mean,
I think Clark won't start this. He probably he got the Achilles, so I don't know when he's coming back.
Right.
So that's a tough one. He might come back probably All-Star break or something like that. But Steven Adams coming back is big time. As we saw at the Cup. Jared Jackson. Yeah. He needs that brother for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I say outside of Celtics, again, bro, we're kind of saying the same things, really. We're kind of saying the same things.
Yeah.
I think the Grizzlies should go 13-12. I think they could go 13-12.
It'd be good, right? I mean, I don't know who they play or anything as far as schedule, but I mean, it's capable for sure. Yeah. I think when Miami gets Dame in this trade, I think that puts him top 10. Wait, what?
Oh man, that's tough, brother. Oh man.
Well,
they still respected you guys enough to be a playoff team.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know how, but that's great. Well, let's go ahead and jump on over to previewing the Pacific Division. You ready to hit that up?
Sure, let's get it.
I hear a child up. Somebody must be having a nightmare. I said nightmare, really weird. So for the Pacific teams, of course, it's the Kings, the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, and Lakers. All 5 teams had a good season last year. Lakers turned their season around from what everyone was saying was probably one of the worst Lakers teams in a long time. The Clippers stayed injured as always, but when it came playoffs, they did push the Suns quite a bit. I think they pushed them to 6 games, I believe it was. And then, of course, before they did bounce out, Kings, surprising team of last year. I think they stayed second all year in the West, only next to the defending champions of the Nuggets. So with that being said, CJ, what you think? We'll start with the Kings. As I drop my earpiece, I apologize. Everything's falling apart here for me. But what do you think is going to go on with the Kings this year?
I think, the Kings, I mean, if you had asked anybody, maybe even Kings fans, before the season started last year, would they be at the top of the division with the Suns, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Lakers? They'd be like, "You're kidding me." But man, they had a phenomenal season. Went to 7 games with the Golden State Warriors in a great first round battle. I'm gonna say, man, I think they take a step back a little bit in terms of wins. I'm gonna say 44 wins.
Oh, big step back though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a big step back because again, this is a clean slate. Again, teams.
There won't be surprised by them this year.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. You know, teams won't be surprised by them. Teams will look at the film, know what their strengths are, know what their weaknesses are, be able to hone in and look at. Now you have a year's worth of film on this new team now in totality. So I think they could lose a couple games. Fox had a great season. Fox had a great year, All NBA year. One of the established himself as not only one of the best guards, one of the best players in the league. To me, it's can Keegan Murray be that second scoring option and develop into that second scoring option? I like Sabonis. Sabonis is kind of like, again, it's kind of like the Bam situation, right? Just minus the defense, because Bam, Bam could get you. He's a triple-double threat. Sabonis is a triple-double threat, double machine, offensive rebounding machine, great passer at his size, at the position, for sure. But is he a guy that can be a number 2 option on a championship team? That's the question. Can he be a third option? I believe so. Yeah, absolutely. And especially some of the things that he brings to the table definitely impacts winning, which is why they had the success that they had last year. But I think Keegan Murray's development at that size, 6'10", kind of playing a small forward, power forward role, I think he needs to establish himself as really being that second guy from scoring option outside of Fox, because has Fox improved his shooting, but he's still not a great 3-point shooter. Worked on the mid-range. They brought Harrison Barnes back. They kind of pretty much brought back the same team that they had last year. So the continuity is there, the chemistry is there. That's good. Brought in a couple other guys, a couple other new guys, but again, they're pretty much the same team. So Mike Brown did a hell of a job, coach of the year, did a phenomenal job with this team, turning this franchise around. This will be one of the laughing stocks of the league. Now they're one of the most promising teams going forward. So I'm gonna say 40. I'm gonna say 45. I said 45, right? Yeah, 45 wins.
You said 44.
44 wins. 44 wins for the Sacramento Kings.
So at first, I was disappointed that you said that. And then after talking with you and listening, because that's what I do, it's what we do here, I'm going to go with 45, actually. I'm going to go with one above you for the fact that the Suns got better. And if they have the longevity of healthiness, that sounds so weird of a sentence, if they stay healthy all year long, I think they win more games. They won 45 last year. I do think that they still rest a little bit, so I'm not thinking the Suns jump a lot. But what I'm really looking at is the two teams also is the Clippers, who Ty Lue has already said he's wanting to have more of an impact during the season. So I think their season wins has to increase some. I think the Warriors win more than what you see on the screen here. They were 11-30 on the road. I think they have to win more than that. So, I mean, I think their record improves. And the Lakers are a better team starting now than they were last year, too. So, if all four of those teams that I mentioned are improving, the Kings have to lose some of those games. So, I'm going to agree with you. I understand what you're referring to. I'm not saying they may not be on top, but I am saying they do have to lose some of those games because those other teams are going to try to participate more in the regular season. And it's weird saying that because you got the Lakers who are seasoned players, AD who is resting every other day, day to Davis, and then you got LeBron who's in year 21, whatever. The Warriors are all getting old. They rest a lot. The Clippers with Leonard, of course, what all management he's done. So we'll see what goes on there. I'm going to put them at 45. I think they're a solid team. I also think they need to call another name, the same name I mentioned before, maybe a Dwight Howard, and say, hey, come dominate the paint. and let Sabonis be able to play that 4 spot instead of the 5. And I think that would be great for them.
Yeah, they need a rim protector for sure.
Yeah.
Metsu's solid. He really didn't play a lot in the playoffs. They need that solid. But again, honestly, there really isn't a lot of elite rim protectors at the 5 spot in the league, which is crazy.
Even a McGee. Maybe McGee.
Oh, McGee's there. McGee's there. Yeah, he's with the
Is
Kings.
he there? Okay. So, I mean, that actually may be good then.
Yeah. This is he wanted to go to Golden State, but he decided to go to Sacramento. Probably he was gonna feel like he would play a little bit more, and obviously he knows Mike Brown, being a part
and
of
knows the style,
knows the scheme.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna get a lot of minutes. He's gonna get opportunity to play, just in case Sabonis does get in foul trouble, or like you said, they want to kind of put Sabonis at the 4, maybe put McGee in the 5, depending on who they play on a specific night. So.
Right.
That was a good pickup. I forgot that they did get McGee, so they don't even need Dwight. They kind of got a younger version. Okay.
I'm glad they got him because I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly, and he's a champion.
Yep.
He really transformed his career, man. I mean, where it was, kind of MVP, Shaqtin' Fool stuff, and then those last, I want to say 5-6 years, man.
5 years, yeah.
Warriors, Lakers, and winning 2 championships, and showing how impactful he could be on those teams. He really changed the narrative.
You just got to go the right way.
We started going the right way. The athleticism was always there. He was in DC.
Yep.
He was jumping out the gym. I thought him and Wall, it'd be something special. But he's done a great job. Really nice veteran. That's a great pickup for Sacramento. But yeah, I'm gonna say 44 wins. You got 45. Let's go to the team that we thought won the all season before the Bucks made the big deal on Wednesday, the Phoenix Suns. And we know who they brought in, Bradley Beal, and they brought in a collection of some solid some depth in that Damian Lillard trade that we talked about earlier in the show. So Michael, what's your thoughts on your B team?
B team. My West team. Yeah. I really like what they've done this offseason because the biggest flaw in this team was depth. And we really didn't know how they would be able to fix the depth because they don't really have the picks. They kind of lost all of their picks, their future with the trades for KD. It was just really a no hope, really, as far as fixing the depth. But they found a way. They believe in this team now. They're making the effort now as far as making the trades. I don't want to say got rid of because Ayton is a solid player, but rehomed Ayton to a place where maybe he can blossom into the guy that he needs to be because he's not being the standout here. And took one player, turned it into 3 or 4 players, or 2 or 3 players, I think it was. And now we actually have a depth. So, yeah, I think this team's going to be good. I'm going to put them I'm going to put them at 47 wins. I think they will be the number 1 in this conference next season. Actually, I'm going to put them at 48. I think they play injury-free. I think I picked Booker to win MVP this year because I think it's been center dominant, and I think this is a stepping stone for him. When they were good last year before last, and they were the first seed, the cameras weren't on them, and they were the number 1 seed. No talk was about it. I think this year, having KD, there's going to be more media potential with the Phoenix Suns. They've been good for a while. I think more TV airtime for them. And Booker really, in my opinion, is the number 1 player. KD is great, but Booker is being consistent, at least at the end of last season and moving into this season. I hope he can continue that. Defensive side and offensive side. So I'm going to go with Booker MVP, in which on 827, you said Luka, Nick said Jokic, and I went with Booker there. So it's already been written down on my notebook here. But I'm going to have them coming in at 40. I'm actually going to say 49 wins. I'm going to as I keep talking, I'm giving them more wins, so I'm going to hush.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I got them as one of the top 2 teams to potentially win the top 4 teams, one of the top 4 teams to win the championship. So I'm going to say 51 wins.
Okay.
51, 52 wins. I'm say I'll go 51 because now this is a full season with KD and Book. I agree with you. Book has to establish himself. I mean, KD's still the better player, but if they want to have the success, the younger guy in Booker, he has to establish. KD's already done everything, right? He's pretty much there to help Booker. So Booker can't just completely like rely on KD to do be the closer,
Right.
do everything. Yeah, he has to take that next step, and you got him in the MVP talks. That's the step. I mean, once you get the MVP stuff, that's when you really get the respect, and he already was a big part in taking his team to the finals a couple of years ago. And I think he's going to continue to get better.
Yeah.
Will they be in the first couple games of the season? Will there kind of be a interesting grace period of shots and passing up a little, being a little bit too passive from all those three guys? Yes, but Frank Vogel, what is Frank? What are we going to get from Frank Vogel? Obviously, he preaches defense. That's his mindset. Are those guys going to be locked in defensively? That's the thing for me, man. I mean, because yes, we know they can score with anybody in the world, but you got to get stops too. You have to be able to get stops, and those three players, yes, they're dynamic scorers, but can they be dynamic two-way players? That'll put them in the finals, because they were the only team really to give Denver a little bit of pause, a little bit of hesitancy en route to the finals when they tied it up after being down 0-2.
Yeah.
So this is a big year. This is a big year. They went all out. Matt Ishbia, new owner, went all out. Brought in KD last year. Brought in a new head coach. Got rid of a coach of the year in Monty Williams. Got rid of their former number one draft pick in DeAndre Ayton. So he's establishing his vision of the Phoenix Suns, and this is what it looks like right now for the 23-24 season. And I think it looks great. They did a really good job of retooling, not rebuilding, but retooling this team after getting bounced out in the second round the last 2 years. So, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, I think they're going to be a great team. To me, them and the Lakers are the only team that really challenged Denver in the West in a 7-game series. So, but you got to get there first, and you got to have good seeding, and you got to have home field advantage. I mean, like people really underrated the home field advantage that Denver had throughout the playoffs. And I think a lot of people forget how important that is, especially in the playoffs, man. Having that crowd. Obviously, Denver has a little bit of a more advantage with the altitude and things like that, but just having the first game of the playoffs and the potentially the last game of the series on your home floor is monumental, man. I mean, because you could finish up the series in great fashion, and you could start the series in great fashion. So I think Phoenix, they need to go out there, and those guys need to stay healthy. Beal's going to be the third guy. I think it's a good fit because he can play off the ball. He's a catch and shoot guy, great shooter. He could excel with the second unit and still be productive. Can Nurkic be a rim protector? I don't know. I've never seen it. I didn't see it in Portland over the last 6 or 7 years. So maybe Frank Vogel could get the best out of him on that end of the floor. He's a good rebounder, solid passer for his size at the center position. Good scorer too, but they don't need him to do that. They need him to get stops and rebound and change the game on that side of the floor. So Vogel's high on him, so we'll see if he based off his tweet, he seems excited to go to Phoenix as well. So that's what I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at how they play between those three. How they play it. Are they moving the ball? Is it a free-flowing offense, or is it a take turns here? You go off one possession. If it's that, yeah, that's going to work in the regular season. But come playoff time, as you know, there's a shelf life to that mindset. Offensive possessions could get stagnant, and even though you may be the most talented team, you could end up losing because you're leaving possessions out there where you're not getting everybody involved. So yeah, I got 51 wins. I think they're going to bring it in and get it together in the regular season. They got a championship head coach, champion, and KD, a couple other solid guys. I think they're going to get right.
right, so next we've got what? The Clippers coming up?
It's Los Angeles Clippers.
Of course, last season they finished 44-38. Didn't have Kawhi maybe 50% of those games. So it's going to be tough to grade them, really. When Paul George and company are at full strength with Kawhi Leonard, they're a great team.
Yeah.
But how often will you get those? So I'm going to start with you, CJ, instead of me going. What do you think of them this year?
It's just, man, I mean, they're one of the most just confusing teams to preview and just look at because the talent is there, but it's the uncertainty with their top guys, man. Kawhi is incredible. Had a 48-point playoff game, and then the next game he's out. It's just you just don't know what you're gonna get. It's just tough for me to say. I'm gonna say 46.
Okay.
I just don't see those guys playing. You're telling me right now you can see those guys playing 65 games? I'd be shocked. I don't see it. As I'm saying, I don't see it, to be honest, man. I don't see those guys winning 65 games. So,
well, I was thinking 47, so I'm kind of right there with you. I think they try, but I still think they're going to basically weasel their ways into bowl management somehow still.
I agree. They're gonna do something because just that Kawhi, those guys are making so much money, and both of those guys have had lower extremity injuries over the last 5 years, 6 years. You got to be careful with that, and they're aging players too. They're already past 30. So yeah, I'm saying 46. I think they'll get to the playoffs again. And then for them, I think for them it's just get to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's about seeding like I talked about with Phoenix and some of the and Denver and some of these other teams. I think for them, it's just making sure those guys are healthy come playoff time. I think that's all Clippers fans care about at this stage, because they need those guys. Bringing back Westbrook, great. I think he played exceptionally well in a Clipper uniform. Outside of after the debacle that happened with the Lakers for the first half of the season. Terrence Mann coming, he's a solid player. They brought in KJ Martin from Houston, really nice young player, could jump out the gym, kind of worked on his floor spacing. His pops, Kenyon Martin, was a former Clipper, so I think he knows Ty Lue, he knows that, so I think that's a good fit for him as a young guy. Norman Powell, one of the best six-men, second unit players in the league. So Zubats. Quality big, Plumlee, quality big, so that they're good in the front court. So the roster's good. They have the depth, they have everything. It's just it just comes down to the activity of Paul and Kawhi. That's it. So I'm not going to go high on them for regular season wins. So I got 46.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend much time talking about the Clippers because really, what you said, they have it. They have everything together. They just actually have to be active to do it. That's really it. So I'm going to go one win ahead of you, and that's really no reason. That's just when I looked at it, I said, I think they may win 3 more games and nothing more. I still think, 46 points this game, and I'm out 2 weeks. All right, 30 points this game and 15 the next. Oh, man, something I've tweaked. I'm out another week or 2. So I still think injury load management is what it will be.
Okay. Now we got the Golden State Warriors.
Ooh. The Golden State play-at-home Warriors. 33-8 at home, 11-30 on the road.
11-30 on the road. They traded one of their key pieces and then winning that championship a few years ago. And Jordan Poole, he's now Washington Wizard. They bring in Chris Paul in a mega deal. In the off season.
I thought you meant Oubre.
Nah, Oubre's with the Sixers.
Okay.
They bring in Chris Paul. What's your thoughts on this team, man? I still have a lot of questions. I don't think the questions have really changed since the trade.
I'm going to say this. I love Chris Paul, and I think he's one of the most underrated point guards in his whole career, what he's done. But I'm not really buying into this hype of Chris Paul being a starter on this lineup. I mean, are we running Chris Paul, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson with Draymond and Wiggins?
Yeah, that's the projected starting five. That's what it looks like. Wiggins at the 4, obviously. Yeah, Draymond at the 5. Yeah. So.
Which Wiggins wasn't there most of the season last year. We know that.
Yes,
and that played a huge part, in my opinion. I think Wiggins is really the X factor of this team. He was the All-Star 2 years ago for this team to represent the team. I think having him for a full season will change things. But Chris Paul, in my opinion, should be the backup. I think Chris Paul should be the leader of that second unit where Klay Thompson can still have a guy who can set him up off the pick and rolls, screens, not pick and rolls, but the screens off the ball, and just have the man that can set you up right where you feel comfortable on your shots. That's what Chris Paul does. It's basically a Steph Curry removed other than being fancy and making crazy shots. And then you can even have Steph Curry can run off those screens as well and switch it up. Like, this team to me is almost interchangeable at the 1 and 2 spot. But I get a little iffy when it comes to moving Wiggins to the 4 and having Draymond as your number 5. He's done it in past, yes, he can still do it. But I don't really think Draymond Green can hold up, and I'm looking probably more playoffs in a 7-game series against a Jokic, Embiid, even a Giannis, really. He's smart defensively, yes. But at some point, some of that height does come up to a big difference. So Chris Paul hasn't finished the season in a long time when it comes to playoffs. He usually is hurt. He's the Embiid of the West Coast. Last year was the first time.
No,
but
he didn't finish it last year.
Oh, he didn't last year. Okay, I was like, well, I thought he did, but I mean, if you said he did, then okay. So I mean, I feel like you need to actually load management him. Chris Paul needs to be on a time limit, no more 18 to 25 maybe, and that's at the high as the 25. Let him run second unit. If it's crunch time, fourth quarter, final 3 minutes, okay, yeah, put him in there with Steph and Klay, especially if you're playing from behind. I think that'd be good to run that lineup, a quick unit, a 3-point unit. But I don't know, man. You went and traded off lights out Poole and got older. So I don't know. I'm not buying the hype. You didn't catch my lights out Poole there for a second, did you?
Oh, no,
so
yeah,
I'm gonna pump the brake a little bit. And as far as wins, I do think they win more because Wiggins is there. I think they win more in 11 games on the road. So I'm going to put them at 46 wins. But this Chris Paul thing, I don't know how it's going to play out.
I think they stay where they're at from a win standpoint. Now, yeah, I don't think their road record would be as bad as we saw last year for the reasons you stated. Wiggins, yeah, he's going to be impactful and he's going to help them for sure on the road defensively and what he brings. This lineup is just so small, man. And I know, the players that you brought up that they can't stop or the 3 of the best players in the league. But and a lot of the teams don't use their bigs like that. So that favors a small lineup like Golden State.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I just don't see them being that much better defensively. Chris Paul is so used to having the basketball in his hands. Draymond is kind of like the primary ball handler of the team. It's Steph, but it's also Draymond because, again, Draymond can't shoot, so he needs the basketball in his hands to have more of an impact and set guys like Steph and Klay up. So, what's that dynamic going to look like? I did see Draymond and CP3 working out in the offseason. I think that's good. That's good for chemistry-wise. Those guys kind of had some issues going on, during their past Clipper, Warriors, Rockets, Warriors runs, back in the day. So it's good to see them put that aside. And, now that they're brothers and teammates now, they need to keep the main thing. So that's cool. But, back to the X's and O's standpoint and what we see on the floor,
if I'm an opposing team, man, and they have Looney, they're gonna bring Looney in there, and he's kind of like that he's really like the X. I mean, they have a couple key factors, but from a size and front court standpoint, he's a big factor because his ability to get offensive rebounds is second to none. He's one of the best offensive rebounders. I'd probably say top 3, top 4 offensive rebounder in the league. And he's not even a crazy leaper either. So yeah, it's that starting lineup. I think they are gonna have him out there in the starting lineup. I think they're gonna go Paul, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond at the 5. Just because, I mean, Chris Paul's never come off the bench in his entire career. I think it would just have to be from a standpoint of if they're starting and it doesn't look good, then that conversation will arise. But to start the season, I think I can see Kerr. Yeah, it could turn. I mean, that's the worst case scenario, right? But I don't think from a playmaking standpoint and lack of turnovers, it won't be that bad because Chris Paul is a better playmaker,
right?
And he's a better shooter, but he's not a great catch and shoot guy. This is what he has to transition into, especially being in Golden State, because. Yes, they're going to let him kind of do his thing off the pick and roll and get to that mid range, but it's not going to be at the same type of volume as it was with the Clippers, with the Rockets, with those last couple of years in Phoenix. That volume is not going to be the same. So he's going to have to find other ways to impact the game, and the catching and floor spacing, playing off the ball should do so. We saw your favorite point guard Jason Kidd towards the later end of his career with Dallas. He was a guy that had the ball in his hands all the time, so he kind of transitioned into a catch-and-shoot guy at times because they needed that floor spacing, and it worked out for them. He won a championship. So he needs to kind of, look at that formula if he wants to continue to keep his career going. You don't want to keep getting traded. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest players of this generation, no doubt, over the last 20 years, of course. But obviously the goal for him is to win a championship, and you're on a team that just won a championship 2 years ago. Sacrifice is the key. And that's what I'm looking for when I see Chris Paul. Is he willing to sacrifice? That dynamic with him and Steph is going to be very interesting because, I mean, Chris Paul has been running the show on his teams for forever, not even for years, forever. So this would be the first time where it's not his show, it's Steph Curry's show. And again, if he's willing to sacrifice it and he understands where he's at in his career right now, which looking at that interview that he had with the Warriors media, like when he first got traded, it looks like he does. It could be a nice move. For me, what I see when I look at this team is, what are we going to get from Jonathan Kuminga? Right. We got rid of Poole. Kuminga, Moody. What are we going to get from these guys? You traded Wiseman. That draft class their draft class hasn't been great. They traded Wiseman, right? After a couple years, Kuminga showed flashes, but it hasn't really, he hasn't really brought it all together. Moody looking like a solid floor spacer, but hasn't really brought it all together in terms of getting the minutes that he should be getting at this stage of his career, going into his 3rd year. I'm looking at those two players, especially Kuminga more, because I feel like he has more of an upside than someone like Moody. And some of their young players, Keonis had a really nice summer league. I look for him to kind of fill in that role of Jordan Poole. He kind of has a similar playing style. He had a great summer league. I think he's going to continue to improve. I saw him training and working out with Steph Curry in the offseason, looking at a couple videos on YouTube. So their farming system is going to have to really hit and have to be impactful this year. And they're going to, and somehow, some way, they have to find at least one more guy to get that depth chart for the front court.
Yeah, I'm with you on everything you said there. The Clippers, I hate to say it, but we may be close to seeing the end of an era.
In the Warriors? Yeah.
Yeah, I say Clippers. Yeah, Warriors. Because I mean, if Draymond's really starting at the 5, he's losing a step or two. Let's be honest. Like he's not nearly as fast as he once was, and of course that's kind of vague on bringing that information there, but it is what it is. I mean, he is getting older. I'm not sure how old he is. I want to say he's over 30 now, but it's almost the end of a dynasty here. I don't want to say a collapse because I hate to say it, because, Jordan Poole was supposed to be kind of the continuation of that core of the dynasty. But I think, and even Wiseman as well, I think was in with that with Kuminga.
Yeah,
but now that Wiseman's been traded, what's going to go on here? Like, it's almost very close to saying, "Hey, man, we might have to rebuild when we get through a year or two here." So I don't know. It's the future isn't
rebuild with Steph. I mean, Steph's still playing at a high level.
I agree, and I 100% agree, and I want that to be known that I do agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, we're close to the end of his career too, though. Like, he may have 5 more years because, we've talked about this casually. Like, he can move over to the 2 guard and just be a set shooter for any team he wants to be. But as far as at the high level, what we're used to seeing him play at, that may be almost to the end with the Warriors anyways. We may see him on another team.
Wow. See, I can't look that far. I can't look that far right now.
I would hate it for sure.
Yeah, I can't look that far right now, man. But again, I will say this. This is going to go down as like Steve Kerr's most difficult coaching season, I'd say.
Yes.
And you could argue what you mean, CJ. Like, when they had KD, that's tough. That's tough too, because KD's going to want his shots and Steph's going to want his shots. But I think right now, since like you said, they're on the back end of the dynastic year, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dynastic run. This and then with the lineup that they have, you still have a lot of questions about their young core. It's gonna be an adjustment, man, just to see what he does. It's gonna be an adjustment to see what he does.
There we go,
man. I would say. I think they're gonna make a trade. They're gonna have to make a trade at the trade deadline for a move. I mean, of course, we got to see how the games play out in the regular season, of course. But I can see them making a trade, man. I can see them making a trade because I just don't know how this starting 5 is going to play out, because they're not fast, right? They don't have a bunch of speed. I mean, listen, outside of just a couple mental mistakes there with the Kings. Kings could beat them, right? I mean, Steph had to go crazy and drop 50 to pack them up, right? So it's like they don't have speed, they don't have size. They have experience, which is big, which is key. But how much of that, how much is that going to play a factor in the regular season when you're going up against these young, hungry teams? OKC, Sacramento, Denver's still, Murray and Jokic aren't 30 yet. Like, Sun's going to have something to prove. We'll see whatever happens with the Pelicans. Timber, the Rockets. So it's like, bro, they don't have they don't have supreme athleticism outside of Wiggins in that starting lineup. So that's why I said Kuminga is really going to be key for them, bro. He's going to really have to play well. He wanted this. It was kind of some trade. He was kind of talking about potentially wanting to get traded if he didn't get the opportunity. Here you go. This is the opportunity. So let's see if we can make the most of it.
I wish we had Nick on here. Of course, this is his team.
Yeah, man. I was excited. I wanted to see what he was going to say, how many wins. But we'll definitely get his thoughts on that next week when he gets back on the show.
Oh, of course, and just because I truly think that we are possibly very close to seeing an end to a dynasty here. Now, if they do make the trade, I think obviously that fixes that problem and they can continue on. But there's at least the hiccup that could happen here. I don't want to see it because I think Steph Curry is a generational player and he's changed the game of basketball. I can say so many highly things about him, but we know who he is. So I hope they're able to work it out, keep it together. Because if they change up and they go as far as a trade in some different direction of bigger players, I'm just trying to word this the right way.
And I just remember too, Portland has their draft pick next year.
Yes, yeah.
so
I mean,
man, Mike Dunleavy, new president of basketball operations, man. Tough job for the guy.
And with FIBA USA, we maybe got a hint that Steve Kerr only can coach a certain style. Is it okay to say that?
Yeah, hey, when you get used to, we won 4 championships with the style, so it's like, it's worked for him. It's worked for him, so I get it. But yeah, when you got Jokic right now who already has a championship and he's hungry for more, and there's nobody in the West that could guard him. Now it's not one center out there that'd be like, yo, you know what? He could probably make it tough. No one, not even Embiid, not even, and he's in the East. There's nobody because he's just too elite, bro, with the playmaking and everything. You just can't stop him, bro. It's unguardable. So it's gonna be tough. They're gonna have to hope they get in and catch a break. Man, them versus the Clippers in the first round, taking it back, Chris Paul on the Warriors, going up against the Clips, that'd be, again, it's kind of, both of those teams are kind of like aging, but it'd be great storylines. That'd be great first round to watch. Ty Lue versus Steve Kerr again. I'd be glued in. I'd be glued to the TV for sure. I just don't see championship for this team right now. I don't see it. I see first round, maybe second round, maybe. But that just depends on who they play. If they play one of these young teams again, like Sacramento, maybe they can use their experience in the playoffs to get a dub, but they really shouldn't get a win, and then sneak a series win in advance. But with those top teams, I don't see it.
So let's go on to your West Coast favorite team as the midseason last year. It is the Los Angeles Lakers, who finished the season 43-39. Probably after the All-Star break, or at least after the trade deadline, they probably had, if not the best record in the NBA. There was a span, I think they were like 20-10 or something like that. Now I may be making up numbers there, but it was while LeBron was out aiding an ankle and was supposed to be done for the year, and then miraculously he healed like LeBron James does. And he came back and was able to play. So they've made great additions. Their lineups, even midseason, they made great additions. They made the right personnel, roster changes. This team looks good. Reeves is a up-and-coming player for this team. He makes the right plays. He doesn't force anything. He's poised when he has the ball and in control. And he's obviously not even the main guy on this team. They finished with 43 wins last year. What are you thinking they may finish this year? Because I do think it's got to be higher. I think AD has to stay healthy. Obviously, that's the question for everyone. LeBron has to play better productive minutes all game long, and that's my opinion. I know you don't agree with on that. For them to have a chance, I do think they're a contender for the ring. I think they're a top 5 team for sure, if they're all healthy and playing at an all high level. I'm going to go ahead, and since you usually have been picking mostly, I'm going to say that I have them at 40. I'm going to put them at 45 wins as well, because I do still think that there is going to be some management going on, but I do think that they do play more and look more appealing.
I'm going to go with 48.
Let me say it this way. I think this 45, I'm sorry, I interrupt you. I kind of coming back. A 45 win season compared to the 43 is a better team season, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
That team for the majority of the year had Westbrook, and it wasn't a good fit. This team obviously doesn't, and they're coming off a really good second half, like you talked about. Yeah, I'm gonna say 48. I really like their depth. They added some great depth around Bron and AD.
Did you say the Warriors? Win? I didn't write it.
I said 44. I said they stay the same. Yeah.
Okay.
Lakers had a hell of an offseason, man. I mean, you look at top 5 teams that won the offseason. Maybe top 3, really. I mean, Phoenix, Milwaukee. I mean, Lakers, Celtics. I mean, I'd probably put the Lakers over the Celtics. I mean, Jrue Holiday is a big pickup, but with the Lakers out of the accumulation of guys and kept their key guys that they had last year that helped them get to the Western Conference Finals, bringing in Gabe Vincent, who was just in the NBA Finals. He's coming off the bench for them. Taurean Prince, big pickup, a wing that can space the floor, play defense, perfect for a LeBron and AD-led team. Extending Jared Vanderbilt for a few more years. Hachimura extended him, re-signing Russell and Reeves. Reeves at a bargain at $54 million, where he could have got, I think he could have got 80 or 100 million in San Antonio. But he turned it down and decided to stay with the Lakers. Darvin Ham in his second year as the Lakers head coach. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, Bron and AD, they're going to have to stay healthy, of course, just like how we talked about, the Clippers and Phoenix as well. But I think if they miss a couple games, they could win some games now with the depth that they have. Like, they have some solid talent that could like Russell could go out and get 30. Reeves could go out and have like a 25-point game. Or, Hachimura, the way Hachimura is looking in the offseason, training with LeBron the entire offseason. That's great to see. Just think about the narrative of Hachimura like last year. I mean, it was like everybody looked at him as an afterthought before he got traded to the Lakers. Now we're looking at him as like a potential solid, young piece for them post LeBron. Like, that's what we're saying now, like, about Rui Hachimura. So it's crazy. A difference in a scenario in a year can make, and when you change your mindset and how you lock in on certain things. So Hachimura was there. He developed working as a floor spacer, got stronger. He played well, man. Christian Wood, I don't know how much he's going to play. I don't know how long he's going to last on the team. But if he could play how he played in Houston and like with the Pistons, when he got the original height, it's a hell of a player. I mean, spacing the floor, solid defensively, not the best, but solid. Jackson Hayes, young center. He's not. You would think with that athleticism, he'd be a great rim protector. He's not that great of a rim protector, but playing alongside someone like AD, like I said, situation, just like I talked about Hachimura, could potentially help him. He kind of had some rough patches here and there in New Orleans. Now he's here with the Lakers now. Could be a great fit. Could be a great fit for him on a 1-year deal. So, Rob, like I said earlier at the top of the Lakers segment, Rob Pelinka, man, he's done a phenomenal job. It looked like at certain points, Laker Nation wanted to get him up out of there. And what he's done over these last, let's just say 9 months has been sensational. And LeBron, year 21. This is year 21. Just, man, I mean, still going, still playing at a high level. I agree with your point. Like, yeah, he's not going to go 100% all 48, but that's what I'm saying. Like, for Pelinka to bring in some younger, fresh guys in there where he could kind of pick his spots throughout the game. You want him fresh in the fourth. He shouldn't have to go crazy 1 through 3. Like, he should be ready to go and locked and loaded and good to have enough fuel in the tank in the fourth quarter of every game, especially in the playoffs. So it's just smart executive management by the Lakers. And I think they're going to be really good this year. They just added a couple guys from the team that they had this year. Floor spacers, quality players, guys that are willing to sacrifice, a couple guys that have had playoff success, and Gabe Vincent, like I said. I'm looking for D'Angelo Russell to have a bounce back. He struggled in the Western Conference Finals against Denver. We'd like to see him step up defensively as well. I mean, there's been some talks about whether or not him or Vincent should be in the starting lineup. Darvin Ham has come out and said that Russell's going to start, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to close. Right? We've talked about that situation a lot here on the show. So, he had a nice guy signed a nice contract, so I'm looking for him to bounce back and play well also. And and just last but not least, 2 things. Reeves is taking that next step. I mean, people call him overrated and things like that. He only gets hyped because he's on the Lakers. Mm-hmm. He put himself in this predicament. It's not like nothing was given to him. I mean, he was undrafted. He worked into a roster spot. He was on a 10-day. Like nothing. Like I mean, I don't understand the hate. But again, like I said, it's the X app. You see a lot of that. But I don't understand the hate, man. He came from the mud. Seriously, like came from the bottom. Like wasn't highly recruited, any of that type of stuff. Went to Wichita State and went to Oklahoma. Like he put himself in this predicament to get this second contract and get a nice solid bag. So I want to see him improve. I want to see him get better as a player. And then of course, man, it's your guy, AD, bro. It's like, what's up? Are you going to put yourself in the MVP discussion? Are you going to put yourself in the category as your big man colleagues and Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid and get one of these MVPs? Or are we going to look back and say, man, he was just as talented as those guys, but never won an MVP? What do you want? Saw some clips of him in the offseason, working out, training, looks good, looks in shape, looks ready to go. Great. Need to see a full season plus postseason. That's what the greats do. The greats dominate on both seasons. That's just like this. I think over the last couple of years, we just kind of it's postseason. You could coast in the regular season. Postseason is all that matters. But look at the greatest players of all time. They dominated in both seasons, regular and post. That's what Jokic did last year. That's what Giannis did the year before. That's what Embiid is still trying to do, only doing one half. So I mean, it's just, man, he's so talented, bro. As a two-way player, he should already have a defensive player. He should already have a bunch of accolades already, but it just all hasn't come together. And I'm looking for this season right now for AD for it to be the season, man. He needs to step up and dominate every single night.
I hate to be this guy, but I actually think that the LeBron James going for the scoring title had a little bit of distraction for a little bit, because there's some videos where you see even AD, like, he broke the record and AD is just sitting down, like, not even cheering for him. It's like, so I don't know if some of it was a circus act, and I'm not saying anything negative towards LeBron. So we'll see if this season is a little bit different. And if so, like, okay, maybe now they all can be more focused on, like, let's go in as a team and try to actually win this. Like, LeBron's whole pitch to get AD to come here was, it's your torch. But this last season was more about LeBron getting that scoring, which is fair. I mean, obviously it deserves the hype. So the sky's the limit for this Lakers team if they can put it together and stay healthy. But that's with every team. Healthy is obviously day in, day out the biggest concern for everyone. But I think, again, they are a team that stays in reserved a little bit through the season and until it is playoff time. AD, I think, is a great candidate for MVP this year. He had a span of 2 weeks of playing well where everyone's like, hey, he's top 10 player.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
But I'm just saying, like, in 2 weeks, he played so well that everyone was on the bandwagon, like, he's going to be MVP if he keeps this up. So he has it if he can just maintain it.
That's what it is, man. It's just about the main. Even in the playoffs, like, you have a 30 and 20 game and then score 12 in the next game.
Yeah. He's
tough.
I don't want to say he's like a passive-aggressive player, but the game has to kind of come to him in a way. He's got to change that where, hey, I've got to get mine, instead of saying, hey, this is what it just kind of falls in place. Like, this is the play. It goes here. Like, hey, give me the ball. I need to score,
Yes. Yeah, and that's what LeBron wants, especially at this age, especially at this stage of his career. And honestly, he's accustomed to doing that. I mean, when he was with Wade, Kyrie, he let those guys flourish in their style.
Yeah.
Of course, he's the guy, but he still let those guys be themselves. AD has to show, again, at this stage, you're 21 for LeBron. Like, bro, like, you're 30. Like this is prime years for you. Like, you need to go out there and dominate and establish yourself as one of the best players in the NBA. And as I said earlier, just to finish up, man, like what do you like? Yes, he won the championship and he was a big part of that in that bubble, big time, bro. But now it's like LeBron's probably what? I don't want to put a timeline on it, but let's just say less than 5 years he's going to retire, right? So, like, what is this? Like, what do you want the Laker team to look like? You want it to be a team where stars are still going to go to LA and play with you because you helped lead the team to a championship. as LeBron was on the way out. That's the type of narrative you want post Bron, bro. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, the talent is there. It's just it needs to be a collection of everything for him now, just for it to be complete.
Yep. So I guess that wraps up our show. As always, CJ, we held it down. We did the thing. Other than my computer dying, I'm on 5% again. Apparently, with everything going live, my computer doesn't charge up. So we'll go ahead and call this a wrap. I had my phone. Sorry that I had to go for the phone for a while. Then everything fell here. But you know what? It's part of the game, and that's how it goes. So, but before we sign off of here, CJ, where can everyone find you on the social media platforms?
Yeah, you can find me on X at cjames9_. On Instagram, cj.james9. And also I'm stream 2K, Madden a little bit as well. On my gaming channel, CJ versus the World, on YouTube as well. And then for the socials on that, CJ versus the World 9 on IG and on TikTok.
Gotcha. Of course, underneath my name here, you can see excuse me. You can go to Linktree / I've got Cats Chat Pod. My apologies. Well, apparently when I came back on, it changed it back to Cats Chat. MNC Hoops.
Either one.
All of our social media links on there. Pretty much MNC Hoops will get you on anything with IG, even TikTok, X, Facebook. We even have there, which, actually we do pretty well on Facebook. That's all we use really on our Cats Chat Pod is Facebook. You get a lot of people more engaged on Facebook from all ages. That's why I kind of like it. But, of course, Cats Chats Pod, I'm live on there on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're talking everything Kentucky sports. Right now, we are in the football season. We just did the live stream of Trent Noah, a 3-star recruit from Harlan County here where I live, who just signed with South Carolina. It was fun doing that. Please go check that out on our YouTube channel. But as far as following me on anything, it's MDLawson00 on all social media platforms. And again, real quick, MNC Hoops is our promo code with SeatGeek if you are looking to go to any events, basically, where you're purchasing a ticket. You can use the promo code on SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code MNC Hoops. For your very first purchase, you'll save $20 off at least one ticket there. We do appreciate any way we can help you all out, and we appreciate you all using the code because it helps us out as well. But until next time, CJ, I think this wraps up our episode. As always, it's been fun. It's been real. We knocked it out of the park. Slam dunk. You guys have a great day and keep on hooping.
Sir, where's my guy, Nick? Deuces.
Deuces.